Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well,
So
I
we'll
would
start
turn
with-
to. Oh,
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I was going to say we'll start
would-
with you, Paelias.
yeah. I would turn to the matriarch in her boat and suggest we get out of the water and maybe take shelter in one of these ruins.
She gives you a big ol' locks it on thumbs up, and she will help you row the boat to whichever ruin you so choose.
Oh.
Which one looks like it has the most space for people?
Most space for people? We'll say, yeah, like one of these towers here, will probably have the most because they have pretty good square landings. These ones are mostly underwater, and you just got like the peaks of roofs and ruins that are sticking out.
Alright,
They're
well,
fairly
then
tall.
We'll go for this one for now.
Heck yeah. So you clamber aboard. There's 3/4 of a floor that's pretty easy to get access to, and you can get pretty safe shelter from the elements and the waves, as well as some pretty handy spots to rig up a rope so the boat doesn't float away. And you are safe. I wouldn't say for the time being, because it's not true. You're safe as long as you want to stay there. There's nothing that's gonna threaten you from within this ruined building.
I'm just gonna wait for the others to get back. But while I do that, I would like to do a medicine check to see if any of them are injured.
All right. Why don't you roll me your medicine?
Hell yeah.
And that is a 21.
A 21. You are aware that the one surviving fisherman has got some pretty serious burns on his arms and on his back, and the matriarch seems to have some lacerations from splinters from when it was exploding. But otherwise, they don't have any serious injuries in terms of like life-threatening. You're gonna die in the next 5 minutes. It's just they're minor wounds. The fisherman.
I'll give each of them a healing potion.
Oh.
Because I have
the fisherman's
some.
not having a good time, so he happily accepts the potion and he gulps it down. And you watch as the potion's effects take hold. The matriarch refuses the health potion at first, and she says that she wouldn't want to take such a precious resource if one of your comrades who bravely defended the rig might need it more. And she says,
I open up my coat and show that I have 3 more. On my person. It's like, yeah, I've got a few more in case.
She'll relent and she'll accept the potion and she'll drink it happily. And as she consumes the potion, you can see some of the lacerations begin to close on their own magically.
Thanks.
For now, the two of them.
And we lost him.
Oh no. Hello?
Hello?
Shit.
Is that better?
There you
Oh,
are.
we got you again.
Interesting.
Hi.
Okay, if I stand 2 feet this way, it doesn't work, but if I stand 2 feet the other way, it does. I'm walking.
Where are you going?
Because I was shoveling all day, and the fact that I have a well-known, back fucking injury, I'm sitting down for long periods of time hurts, so I'm just standing.
Okay.
Because I don't need to be typing on my keyboard. Anyway, so
Hell yeah.
yeah. They're doing pretty good. The fisherman's pretty miserable. That's what happens when you lose all of your work colleagues and you see your entire place destroyed and you go through basically D-Day.
Sorry, we tried.
Involuntarily.
Nobody
he asked
told me
for it or
they had
anything.
trebuchets.
Nobody knew. It was
I
a
didn't
surprise. What about the attack on the Wookiees? Who knew?
Where were they
Man, I should
hiding
have
the
saved another
trebuchets?
5th level spell slot.
And the dinosaurs.
apparently they were hiding the trebuchets on the dinosaurs. Who knows where the dinosaurs were being hidden? It seems as though we're getting a lot more questions than answers here. As you guys have the thing tied up, and as the matriarch drinks her potion, feeling good, this is upon the time when Super Aviation Force Vagabonds X arrives on scene, returning from their successful assault on the enemy artillery.
Hell yeah.
Oh no. I think we might have been too late.
I'll begin dealing with the fire as fast as I can.
Okay. A large amount of the damage is straight up physical kinetic, but a decent amount of the wooden platforms and such are burning. How would you like to fight these fires? Just give me a general sort of understanding, because there's no...
Control flames, as usual.
I don't think I have any real way to fight the fire.
Yeah.
You should
Neither
check
do
for
I.
survivors. I can deal with
Yeah,
this.
if that's what Vinshenzo
Yeah.
would be doing.
Carlos will help look for survivors too.
Okay. Explain to me how much flame you can control at once there. I think it's every 6 seconds, effectively, because it's a cantrip.
Yeah.
Just
It was
understanding, like, the rate of
5-foot
control.
cubes for control flame.
Yes, let me see. You choose non-magical flame that you can see within range that fits within a 5-foot cube, and you can affect it. See. Immediately extinguish the flames within the cube. So, yeah, every one of these spaces, every 6 seconds I can extinguish one with fire.
Alright, the fire, I know I'm not drawing it because it's gonna... If I just continuously paint the thing red, I don't want to demoralize to that level of effect, but she's burning, brother. So,
Yep, and
Given
she's
that
going to start
fact-
extinguishing.
100%. Given how large this facility is, where do you want to start extinguishing? Because what you have right now, I will give you the extent. These platforms are burning up. This entire tree is sort of on fire. The roof is ablaze. The bridge basically doesn't exist, as one set of anchor points is gone and it's been consumed. And we're just going to say, for all intents and purposes, by the time you guys get here, this entire
gone.
rig structure is gone.
It's gone. Yeah, there's no saving this.
It
I
looks
want
like...
to deal,
Yeah.
since this is the easiest, I'm going to deal with this over here first.
Focus
100%.
on, are any of
Probably
the
ended.
trees left?
Yeah,
Only
the
this one.
burnt... That tree in the north there has still got some...
Focus on the tree, Vazray.
It was
This is very
definitely not
fast.
hit anywhere near as bad. So Vazra is going to focus on the tree. Or is she going to focus on the platform first?
Since the platform's probably the easiest to deal with for the moment, unless it's too large, I'd like to focus on the platform.
not
It is a
have any
very
choices.
large platform.
I like how many spaces are this taken up ablaze? Like, I don't know what's removed and, like, how much of the line.
So that entire section that is redded out, it's gone. But you can, just based off of that concept, the fire is spreading outwards from there, so the things that aren't redded out, we'll say, are still physically there, but they are burning. Whereas the red is it's just not there. Now, this does not make the same for the tree. Like, consider squiggle lines to be non-existent. The tree in the south looks exactly like the aftermath of something that was struck by lightning, given the nature of its sort of coral structure. It's not quite as flammable, but all of the rest of it, the more wood parts, it's a hybrid of sorts. That organic matter that is burning
Yeah, it might not be
is still
worth it
aflame.
then. I'm going to keep half an eye on this. The platform can be rebuilt, the tree cannot. We'll go ahead and focus our efforts on the tree instead.
Gotcha, girl. Those squares are reflective generally of the width of things. So you
Yeah, she's
go
gonna
in
be
and you
focusing
start
all of her
battling
efforts
in
on it.
flames.
Wait, isn't this the section that got destroyed entirely?
It is.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
just-
this and the bridge. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the platforms themselves can be rebuilt later. He's just going to have to deal with the tree. There's just no stopping this in time. The tree would probably be destroyed by then.
Heck yeah. Carlos and Vinshenzo, did you two say that you're looking for survivors?
That's correct.
Yes.
All right. Just give me a brief understanding of how you plan on going about that. It gives me a better idea of what I'm going to get you to roll for.
I'm going to the places that I remember people being and checking there.
Do
Yeah.
you recall that the workers were taking shelter within like the base of the trees themselves,
Here.
lower down? Yeah. Those areas are currently ablaze. So when you go in, if you choose to go in, are you going to go into the fires, or are you going to sort of look from the outside through openings and see what you can see before you head in?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Okay, so you can like full on balls to the walls go into the burning tree to see like for yourself inside the tree if you can find anybody, grab them and take them out, or you can look from the outside first. The reason that it matters is obviously the physical danger that you immediately put yourself into, which is why I'm asking, how would you go about that?
Yeah. I'm assuming which tree is Vinshenzo looking? Carlos would be looking in the other.
I
But
don't
he
know.
definitely look before he leaps, so to speak.
I think the other
Okay.
one's just straight up just gone.
I thought
It's
both
not
of the
straight up-
trees were intact.
They're
More or less.
intact. One of them is way more damaged and is effectively like ruined. Like is entirely ruined due to how badly struck it was. The other one is merely severely on fire.
I go to the nearest one that I can reach
Okay,
as
for all intents and
quickly as
purposes,
possible.
we're gonna say that
Carlos goes to the
Vinshenzo
other
goes to
one.
the north one, which means Carlos gets the south one.
Oh,
Carlos
yeah.
wants to take a look-see-loo first before he goes into danger, so we're gonna get him to roll a perception check. And I
I'm good at
assume
those.
Vinshenzo's gonna do the same, or is he gonna choose a different approach?
I will leap before I look.
Deadly. So I'm gonna get you to roll con save.
Oh boy.
Is this 12? 12.
.24 perception. Carlos, you scan the outside of the southern rig as you're making your rounds. I can't remember how. Oh, right, you have the wings, the super wings.
I do.
So as you make your flight, you notice acutely that one of the fishing boats has been launched out of the water, and you don't see anybody through the flames looking in. A majority of the flammable stuff has already been burnt to the point where you can look through. You see corpses that are also on fire. But like I said, you notice one of the fishing boat launches is missing. So there's no survivors that you can detect in the south. Vinshenzo, as you rush into the northern structure, the searing heat and the falling cinders scorch your skin, and I'm gonna get you to take 1d6 fire damage.
The skin's been blackened.
Black skin is blacker.
1.
Oh, lucky! Of all the things that you could have, that's pretty good. And as you get in, you also notice the shredded corpses that are evident in the base of the structure. It doesn't look like anybody was able to get out from here, or at least anybody that was still in here. Dead.
Is it obvious they're dead?
Graphically obvious that they are dead.
Oh,
I leave, wincing.
Wincing. All right, I'm going to get you to roll me one more con saving throw as you try to escape from the facility.
The oil rig.
The fish oil rig. Oh, I wonder how much, like, how intensely fish oil burn. Oh,
now he's gotta
Okay.
find out.
he's gonna find out. as you try and weave your way through the collapsing sections, chunks of the tree are starting to collapse into your path as you weave your way out towards the exit, and you're going to take a further 2d6 fire damage as a burning branch falls upon you, scorching at the back of yourself.
Okay.
However, you were still able to escape.
11.
Oh. Badly burned and superficially singed, you were able to make your way out of the rig. As you leave, I'm kind of going off of the assumption that you came from the north and are exiting the south side, sort of like swooping in and then just carrying on straight out to get out the other side instead of turning around and going back.
Hey,
And
sorry.
based off of that, both
I would
Paelias
just
and
leave the
Vinshenzo.
quickest way possible.
Yeah, so Paelias and Vinshenzo are able to identify each other as soon as you guys get out. And you hear Paelias's calls.
Hell
Point of
yeah.
contact made. DM, this looks hopeless. What would you wish to cast, Vazrai?
To assist with extinguishing. It probably won't help all that much, but it's a little bit helps. Before I continue
all she's
doing
got.
control flames, I wish to cast warding wind on myself,
Warding wind. Okay.
as I am going to overwhelm the flames with just heavy winds that hopefully will snuff them out.
Doesn't warding wind? Yeah, warding wind has that effect, right?
Primarily, it's for torch-sized or smaller flames, so it may not help with these bigger ones, but that'll at least help a little bit.
A
Means all I
strong
have
wind
to
of
be is
about
in the
20
vicinity.
miles per hour blows around you in a 10-foot radius and moves with you, remaining centered on you. The wisp spell, Windlat. Okay.
So yeah, she's going to concentrate on that while she is doing control flames at the same time. She does not need to speak for control flame. She is also deafened for this.
It also hedges out vapor, gas, and fog that can be dispersed by strong wind, which helps you from smoke inhalation from the heavy fire.
Yep.
Yeah, I like
So yeah, she's just got this
that.
wind that is just incredibly strong, blowing all around her as it tries to push away the smoke and extinguish the fires as her arms continue to move around and extinguish fires.
That's right, Mr. Calling is a rescue hero. You are intensely battling the flames, and for the moment you are winning in this section of your battle.
Hell yeah. I continue to fight as best I can.
Hell yeah. Okay. Where's the little... Oh, there's the little fast, right? Alright. So, I'm gonna... Given the fact that we are aware that this kind of section here doesn't exist, I'm going to say that you beat back the flames with your hard work and effort. Using your combination of the warding wind and the controlling fire, you're able to safely control and extinguish this section, saving sort of this ring of the platform.
How about the tree itself?
It's going to take a little bit more work than that. 10
Yeah.
minutes worth. We're going to go with 10 minutes worth of firefighting with warding wind. Are you going to try and fight the fire in the tree?
If there are any other survivors in there, it might be a good idea. I'm willing to put the risk.
You're willing to put the risk. Okay. Explain to me your strategy on how you're going to attempt to fight this fire, understanding that this structure is critically ablaze. Or I don't know how to say
Honestly,
critically ablaze, but it's like, it's into the throes of being on fire.
honestly, I may have to start from the bottom and start working my way up.
All right. So as you bounce in, I understand that that you got your warding wind, which is good. However, the flames are quite strong, and I will get you to take a Constitution saving throw for your efforts.
Womp womp.
Being Warcaster, I get advantage.
Yes. Like I said, she missed her calling as a rescue hero.
She's doing absolutely fantastic. That would be a 26 for con save, or a concentration check.
You
She's doing
understanding the nature of fire and being such a good close friend of it means that you also understand how to nicely extinguish fire. And as you come in through the bottom, you're able to get the floor that you're entering on, which is lower down, under control, sort of keeping that lower foundation of the structure from entirely becoming compromised, which is probably a good thing.
Yep.
But you are
Since it's
aware of
going
the fact
upward.
that, yeah, you are also aware of the fact that the fire farther up is way more intense. And it takes you a good couple of minutes of hard, sweaty work to try and get this this section of the blaze under control. So I'm going to just plop you down there.
She's got enough anger in her right now, she's willing to continue pushing herself.
Heck yeah! So we're gonna state that Vazrai has disappeared in the tree, and she is full on fighting this blaze.
Yep.
While Carlos and Vinshenzo have done their tour of the inside, recognized the exact state of the survivors. And once again, Paelias, you've made contact. Carlos, you're still flying around the outside. Roll me a quick. Actually, no, you got 24 perception. Screw it. You know where the boat is, so even though you didn't see Paelias with your eyes, you know there's a there's
I'm
a
using
boat
the
on the
drift
line.
globe, so
Oh, there you go.
it's the light. So there is a light next to me and the two survivors.
It's a very obvious presence in that ruin with a very obvious fishing boat, which can be conclusions could be drawn.
All right. I guess Carlos will fly over there and check on how they're doing.
There's a fisherman who looks like he's got some. Oh, my headphones are screaming at me. There's a fisherman who looks like he was injured, but his injuries are have been treated. And there's the matriarch herself, the Grand Poobah, who's not looking overly happy. She seems pretty sad, and she's got some lacerations that have been healed. And Paelias himself, of course, is Paelias.
Naturally.
Naturally,
nothing
Paelias.
less than Paelias to Paelias.
I cast polymorph.
Ah!
Hell
Damn,
yeah.
I've been fooled. All right. Well, if none of them need any immediate aid, Carlos is going to ask if there were any other survivors.
Any other than just the two. So far, the only survivors anyone has found is them two.
Oh.
Out of a staff of. Doesn't matter. We're not gonna play that game.
Oh, if he asks, I will point out that the matriarch and I were the only ones who survived in here, and the matriarch found one person here.
Oh. I'm very sorry.
Sorry, I didn't want to chew my crispy French fries and ruin your hearing experience, but they're just so crispy.
Crispy goodness.
Yeah. So current head count is 1 matriarch, 1 fisherman, 1 Paelias, 1 Carlos, 1 Vinshenzo, 2 rigs on fire, no Vazrai. What do? We already know what Vazrai is doing meta-wise for the next few minutes, so I'm interested in what the rest of the unoccupied party is going to be doing. And if we want to just sit there and say we're going to sit on our asses and wait till Vazrai shows up, I'm okay doing that. We don't need to play by play every second if there's nothing that's immediately like important to come to mind.
Carlos will do two things. He'll check on Vazrai and also let both Vazrai and Vinshenzo know where Paelias and then the matron are.
All right.
Other than that's about all he can do.
Yeah.
When you get to Vazrai, I'll go ahead and do a little snippet for you.
Okay.
Unless
When you
Unless-
get
We're
to
under-
Vin, I'll do a little snippet for you.
We are under
God
the
damn it.
understanding that Vinshenzo and Carlos and Paelias reunite while Vazrai is busy being a super firefighter. So,
I
like,
posted
you guys
what
all
I'm
meet up.
doing, what I did
Oh.
after the fire. After the
Hell
fire
yeah.
encounter.
Deadly. All right. Well-
So,
Yeah.
Carlos, when you attempt to try and find Vazrai, and imagine you're probably going to one of the lower platforms, I'm not sure. Your wings have probably expired by now.
Oh, goodbye,
Have they?
Carlos.
They might have.
I
Hour.
believe I'll let
Like
the
an
DM
hour.
decide that.
Flight for an hour.
Goodbye.
I don't think you guys have been like doing aerial combat for an hour. Oh no, you
Nah.
wouldn't have.
This
no,
is just
so
like the Helldivers car all over again.
it's just fucking flipping
Damn.
everywhere. It hasn't been an hour's worth of flight. You're still pretty okay, given the fact that this. While I understand that it took us 2 whole entire sessions to get through this beautiful experience, it took around like 12 turns or something ridiculous like that. So you guys have experienced like a lightning raid combined with artillery fire.
Well, he started his when we were going to. He started his flight when we were going to the trebuchet.
Vazrai
so-
is trying her best to get me killed.
Yeah, he's been flying for less than 10 minutes, probably
like
a little
the
bit over
car.
10, 15
Oh
minutes.
no, he's fine then.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
good.
He's
got
all
time.
fine.
He's got time.
I don't know how the doors are set up. You probably hear
The door is ajar.
the whistling of wind as it tries to escape the door. It is loud when you like try to look inside. She's just angrily trying to extinguish flames.
I was
She
faster. I'd
cannot-
be more worried about her little like warding windshield because she only has a few minutes left of that. I wonder what
Yeah.
will happen when you lose the ability to repel fire from all 360 degrees at once.
Don't worry about that when she gets to it.
Huh?
Well,
She cannot hear you though.
no, she is quite deaf. She is in effect quite deaf. However, Carlos, I will state that you are aware of where Vazrai is after a cursory sort of like inspection of the rig. You're like, someone's in there doing something.
Hell yeah.
Vin would want to help, but I don't think I can gather water or collect water, so not much I can do. Water everywhere.
Water. You know what, Vazrai? I'm curious. You've got the lower floor extinguished. Are you going to try your to battle your way up to the upper floors?
That is my intent. I
And
don't think there's any better way right now.
Put out all the fire.
can you explain to me how you're... Is Vazrai keeping track of how long she has warding wind?
She's too busy keeping track of my wings.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, if she's more worried about that, then I'm gonna have to ask. After 10 minutes of
No,
fighting
I'll-
fire, what do? Because that's when your warding wind comes out, and I'm
No,
basically
she's-
treating that as your shield.
No, she's
Isn't
not keeping
10
track.
minutes worth 600 or something casts of fucking control flame as well?
Yeah. There's a lot of casts of control flame.
Just saying.
I am
It's
aware of that.
100. It's 100. What, 10 per minute?
Yeah. Every 6 seconds you do one. Every minute is 10 casts. 10 minutes is 100
Okay.
casts.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But it's a volumetric 3D structure. Like, I'm not saying that she's, like, battling helplessly, and I'm also not saying that she doesn't do a good job. I'm just pointing out, like, hey, are you keeping track? Was my question.
She is not keeping track of warding wind now.
We're
Okay,
not
I'm
going
just
by
gonna do-
turn order. How? Whatever.
Well, as I'd mentioned freely, like, because I know what Vazra is going to spend the next 10 minutes of her life doing, and I now know what you guys are going to spend the next 10 minutes of your life doing, I'm just skipping forward 10 minutes. I'm going to do the quick, like,
Okay.
thought about how much success she gets in controlling flame with warding wind and all that. I'm about to come to the inevitable conclusion of her effective results. 'Cause that's
Hell
1,
yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 120. So you get a decent amount of the not just the bottom floor, but the floor above that, which is sort of like the main platform area. This one here that everybody walks around, sort of like the processing and the nastier part of that entire rig. You were able to get the majority of the flames under control. However, you were aware that sort of the crown of the tree, the roof structure, the upper part that's above the platform is still fairly heavily ablaze by the time that the winds begin to recede.
She tries to continue her firefighting cautiously, now that her little pent-up rage of freaking firefighting is done.
Okay, so without your warding wind, you're going to move up into the next section of tower that's ablaze.
Making sure to be cautious as she moves up.
While I'm also respecting the fact that I think you get a wonderful advantage on a con save, you're still going to have to take the con save.
Yeah, sure. Oh, double fours. Hello.
Hell
Double fours! Ooh,
And-
so that's 2d6's worth of fire damage to
No.
you.
Hang on.
Oh,
The actual con save is 11.
oh, so that's 1d6's of fire damage to you.
Only 1d6?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that all?
Is
Yeah,
that
she
all?
takes
Would you
3
like
fire.
it to be more?
Hell
Yeah, she's bitten by the flame, but she
You
pushes
you
through.
progress up the staircase and you get to the upper gallery, and as you begin fighting the fire, a backdraft blasts up behind you and singes your beautiful new wings that are entirely yours, and it arcs up your back, and you wince in it's very, very searing pain as you're not surrounded on all sides, but there's a heckle of a lot of fire, and you don't have a heck of a lot of 360 protection anymore, and you got bitten because of it.
No.
But if you wish, you're
I
able
can't
to
allow
continue.
myself to fail now.
Oh. All right.
We did not come this far to fail.
It's true. What's
He's
the rest of
going to
the... It's
continue.
been 10 minutes. What's the rest of the party thinking, considering, or are they just kind of like
There's
watching from afar?
yeah, there's not much Carlos can do. Sorry.
I mean, we don't have to just consider the direct action of firefighting. We consider all of the other things in the world. If you guys are going to patiently wait for Vazrai to be finished, that's cool.
Am I aware of the flying impending doom?
Which flying impending doom are you talking about?
Correct.
The fucking we kept noticing, but we were also not noticing something that was flying at us from above. Or was that the trebuchet ball?
I think that was
That was
I think
the
that was the trebuchet.
trebuchets.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's a Delicious.
The impending doom is already impended.
Hell yeah.
Doom is already struck. This is the post doom.
It's completely dark out, right? Aside from
The sun
fire.
has set. Yeah. It's true. That is how
I
it
guess
is.
I'll just keep watch until the fire's out. I don't know.
Deadly. All right.
I don't have a bucket or a way, if I had a bucket, to get water into the bucket.
I just wanted to give you guys a chance to do other things if there was another
keep
thing
watch.
other than firefighting. Good.
Keep
Awesome.
watch.
For a
I really appreciate that.
counterattack.
Paelias is asking about calling for Nephis in the boat, Vin. Is there anything you wish to respond to that?
Sure.
Give a chance for that to happen.
Are we wanting to bring the boat here?
Yeah.
Is that a good idea though, considering the circumstances? Our one way back home? I mean, I'll do it, but I don't know if we should.
Well, I mean, it'll be safer to get back to the city that way, and I'm basically out of magic.
Same here. Don't they have boats here?
In
Like
exactly
fishing
one
raft.
boat. Yeah, the fishing boat that Paelias was able to save.
Well, we have
Okay.
two, because I was in one, and the matron and the fisherman were in another one.
Alright. How tall out of the water is the wide horizon? Or not the wide horizon, the fucking
HMS Fortune.
the fortune? Because this doesn't have like a proper like dock. Or like harbor.
That's a really good question. I would consider to be, what's it, a frigate, right? So that's like
It's-
a 3-deck ship.
It's not like 60 feet tall, right? There's no
No,
way.
I was gonna put it at like 20 feet out of the water. Was my knee-jerk reaction.
It's knee jerk.
I guess we could like rope down to it, maybe. I don't know. Okay,
I mean, we could take the fishing boats to it, and then climb up the side, because rigging and
Hell yeah. Okay, I call Nephis and request exfil.
Plastic X.
All right, Nephis, who has been loitering at a distance safely away from the action, is
I
gonna.
think he's like miles
inward.
away.
No, he was because he was the one that dropped you guys off, right? And he basically was like hovering outside of the AO.
We
just in
came
case
up with
you
a
guys
lot of
needed him.
plans. I forget which one we came up with.
I did too, but I'm gonna
big
make the
plans.
DM official announcement that he was like just outside the AO and he's gonna move in. He tells you guys it'll be a moment or two because he's got to navigate through all the ruins, but he's on his way.
At night with human eyes.
Yep.
Didn't he have Isaac's goggles though?
yes, but he refused to use them.
It's true. He refused
He
to use it.
No, he refused to use them, and then they got stored with the rest of Isaac's stuff at the Vagabond's Rest.
Well,
Carlos is
guess
keeping
those
us
ain't
safe.
getting used. I really hope that some navigator on the crew or some loser has like fucking night vision or something, but I guess we'll find out. I feel like there's probably a few like Drow crew members of the HMS Fortune.
Maybe.
Maybe they can look into the water and say, "You're gonna hit me."
Yeah.
Maybe they
they'll
won't.
say
Yeah,
that.
maybe
Those
they
are-
cut their audio out at the worst time.
They're gonna hit a thing, and then HMS Fortune is done, and you guys gotta find your way back to fucking Wide Horizons on foot.
Okay.
Hell yeah, dude.
I
Go
call
fuck.
for exfil.
Exfil inbound. All right. Yeah, fucking gunship inbound. Vasserai, give me another con advantage super throw. I'm gonna do this every minute. So for every 5 foot
Oh,
cube, so every
boy.
minute you get 10 tiles.
Can't wait.
I know how many tiles are on each floor. I've done the calculation. It's 120.
Oh my
He's done
god,
the
I'm
math.
so excited.
Yeah. So we'll get you to roll. 16. You're good. Keep going. Do another 9. Unless you want to cast your Warning Wind again.
She doesn't have the spells. She doesn't have the
Deadly.
spells.
All right. Let's see how much fumes you inhale and how much burns you get on your body.
All
Another
of them.
6.
Dang! All right. Keep her going there, poker player.
How many more
I am
rolls am I supposed
nearby
to do?
watching
10
Nazare
total.
from the outside.
10 total. Okay.
Which,
Sorry, hang on. Sorry, it's a minute. Every minute you're gonna do this, so 6 total.
Sorry, not 3, 13.
4. Okay, you're still good.
God.
God damn.
That's
Decent. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. Double ones. Snake eyes.
You hate to see it.
2.
God damn it.
Oh.
Keep fucking typing that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 4. No, we're still good.
Nice. There's some pretty strong rolls there.
Yeah, another strong. Yeah, 2.
All right. You've got the majority of the blaze under control, and given the fact that you've taken out the majority of the volume of fire, the rest of it begins to peter out. She is successful on every roll. It seems as though your initial encounter with the flames and the acrid smoke smartens you up, and you proceed a lot more carefully and more diligently fighting the fire. And eventually you were able to battle the flames and extinguish them all. And I'll do, here, I'll see if I can do it this way. We'll get away from the angry red, and we'll just do it sad black. But oh yeah, this whole thing's still ablaze. This shit gets destroyed. This shit's destroyed.
So this side is as saved as it can be.
It's as saved as it can be. I'm not gonna bother scribbling over it in black. We all know what happened there. Hello, can I help you with something, or are you just gonna stare at me from the corner of my eyes the whole time?
So this is all still ablaze over here, and
Light him. Thank you.
this is all destroyed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Effectively, what you have done is you have saved, in quotation marks. No, it's not in quotation marks. You've saved the northern rig from burning down entirely, but this southern rig was allowed to burn this entire time, and what remains is a withered, stony husk. Platform is non-existent.
How sad.
But hey, I mean, it's not your guys' fault. It's the fault of those losers who decided to go blow up the fucking place.
I suppose
Bazray.
that's true.
Bazray, seeing that there's probably nothing else that could be done, all the flames are dealt with, is going to stop here at this, what is it, the upper platform? And she's just going to collapse on the ground for a bit and just lay there and take a short rest.
did Vazari take any damage?
Only 3 burning.
She did take some damage initially, but afterwards she was,
You just pushed through it, really.
yeah, she just decided to not be a bitch.
Yeah.
You love to
Power of
see it.
Bahamut on my side. I must succeed.
We can't not see it. And then all of a sudden, looming from the gloom,
I would like to short rest too.
you guys, all of you who aren't Vazrai, I will count you as having taken a short rest. You
Oh,
may
yeah.
short rest.
Oh, okay.
Don't sound
Unless
so
you choose
fucking
to not.
upset, dude. Jesus Christ.
Hey, I'd like to do this thing. She
She's
can do
the
this
one
thing.
who
Oh, I
wanted the
guess.
short rest.
Well, I'm not saying that she can't. I'm just saying that while you guys were fighting, while she was fighting the fire, you guys were effectively, for the purposes of the mechanics of a
Okay,
short
so
rest.
the ship
you
is
guys
showing up
fulfilled it.
right as the fire got put out.
It starts coming into view as Vazrai, like she's collapsed on the deck, and the next significant thing that happens is the HMS Fortune shows up. Within like an hour of being called.
Okay.
Vazrai, you were able to succeed in your short rest as you've extinguished the flames, and nothing bad happens to you while you're
Hopefully
collapsed
nobody
on the platform.
pesters me either.
I
Gonna
do not
lay here.
pester Vazray.
Just need an hour.
Lie down.
I
You're not
need a
getting
nap.
my French fries. Fuck off.
I want French fries, damn it.
Well,
Oh,
Vazrai,
sorry.
you can have my French fries, but this loser here
yeah.
keeps staring at me with his big, beautiful eyes.
Damn. What a beaut.
Alright. Yeah, nothing else happened.
Nepis pilots his ship in as close as he can, reasonably, and stands on the deck and waves at you. The crew of the HMS Fortune will help the passengers of the fishing boat up onto the deck.
Hell yeah,
They
dude.
grab you and haul you over, and they're all very surprised at the things that transpire. They saw the arcing fireballs flying through the sky from a distance, and they witnessed the absolute pyre that was the fish oil rigs as they illuminated just about everything like a sun. And with all of the vagabonds going to board their vessel, the Fortune?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's right.
Vessels are meant to be boarded, right?
That's how that works. Yo ho ho.
Oh.
Collapso platformo there. Desiree Pinefall. I'm not sure what she's gonna do with that. She's typing. Deadly 35 HP. That's pretty significant.
Now that the ship has returned, I'm going to see if I can find the others.
Okay, where would you like to search for them? Potentially on the ship?
Around the rig first, and then the ship.
Alrighty then. You take a tour around the rig and find out that you are the only one, aside from some very solitary, lost-looking woodwoads and dryads who are just numbly standing, staring out at the waves. You do not see your friends. You do not see survivors. You have, unfortunately, gruesomely, throughout your firefighting adventure, found the burnt and charred husks of the four civilians who had been crewing this facility. You found 4 of them.
Vazray, when she steps outside, it's just very eerie here, is going to look to the city with confusion. Where the hell was our backup?
Good question. Their backup was promised. It's the worst part.
The distraction was one thing, but they had forewarning.
Not only did they have forewarning, but there were griffins around. There were supposed to be, at least. That was a detail that was
we could
dropped
see the
earlier.
griffins at the towers.
Perhaps there were other attacks occurring at the same time.
Hey, B. I'm gonna fly back to the ship. There's nothing left
Hell
for me
yeah.
here now.
Fly back to the ship. The vagabonds are reunited for the nth time in the nth number of days.
Hell yeah.
I get on the ship.
Ship has been
Same,
got
yo.
on. All right. Without any involvement from you guys, Nephis and his crew begin the very delicate process of extracting the HMS Fortune from the minefield of ruins that they have been delicately piloting through. And after a respectable amount of time, deep into the night, they might finally make it to open water, and they begin a slow orbit of the city, keeping good safe distance away in case any nasty buggers decide to be nasty. 4 hours have passed, Paelias.
Unless anybody has any need of Vazray, she'll stay awake on the ship for 1 hour to kind of keep watch, talk to the matron, talk to Vin, check up on everybody. And she is going to attempt a long rest. She is exhausted after all that work.
Oh, yeah.
The matron goes from a state of shock to a state of like traumatized exhaustion to a state of being fast asleep. Ragus comes up aboard and he hands out like sandwiches and stuff like that to anybody who's hungry.
Hell
he
yeah, good
offers,
old Ragus.
He offers some warm soup and other things that are easy to digest to try and refill all the electrolytes and all that beautiful things that a ship's cook is supposed to do. And given the nature of things, he sort of like takes the little fisherman away. The matron chooses to stay on deck as long as she can to watch her burning home, or her home, as it vanishes into the distance. And finally, when it withdraws out of sight, she goes below decks to drink some soup and sit silently in the corner, stoically as any Loxodon would. Yeah. So I see a few rest requests / rest things. So if you guys want to just skip forward to having finished a long rest, I'm happy to do that.
I'm fine with that.
Vin?
Yeah, if nothing happens.
I rest.
Paelias?
Yeah, well, I mean, if it took more than 4 hours to get out of the mire and start circling the city, then Paelias will already have rested.
Yeah, me too.
So,
All right. Well, are you guys happy with fast tracking to the dawn, or is there stuff that you want to do right away?
no, we can fast track to dawn if nothing happens.
The sun rises in the morning. You've all managed to gain a modicum of rest, and you greet the new day with energy, despite the occurrences of the evening before, and you're ready to tackle whatever lies next. You are undisturbed. The crewmen stand vigil watch in your stead. Nephis mans the helm, and the wide horizons, the HMS Fortune maintains a safe distance away to ensure that nobody is at risk of getting trebucheted by dinosaur artillery. You never know these days.
You never know.
An Allosaurus with a cannon on its back could be walking around in the trees.
Apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, you're greeted when you wake up with morning breakfast, and I leave it to the party to start their day.
Did we hear anything or see anything about other attacks in the city?
What you know visually I love it when that happens. What you know from your own sort of examinations and reports from the crew is it looks like 3 attacks took place within the city. The crew on watch report this based off of not only smoke and fires that have been trailing up above the city walls, as well as explosions and the faint clamor of battle, but as well as pretty evident lack of response to whatever it is you guys were doing. Seems like something big's going on down there. In the morning, when you eventually, if you at all venture topside, and if not, you might hear a report from some of the crewmen on watch. There are still tendrils of smoke reaching out from parts of the city. But any further unrest seems to have mostly dissipated in terms of there's no further damage. Doesn't seem to be wider spread. The same things that were reported being on fire, it seems as though it's not gone beyond that. But you do not receive word from any of the forces of New Ravnica
Oh, that's troubling.
throughout the night or into the morning when you wake up. So I leave you with this as your starting off point when you wake up in the morning and receive your report of the evening's events or the night's events.
Considering what happened, Vazra would like to know, has there been any reports on the Temple of Bahamut? Did it get hit last night or something?
Or
If that is not something they can find out from the ship, that's fine.
Oh, sorry. I don't know why my headphone keeps fucking dying. Plugged it in twice and it just keeps on screaming at me and beeping. What was it that you said, Vasrai?
Does the crew have knowledge if the Temple of Bahamut was hit last night?
They honestly only know that there's a Temple of Bahamut because you told them then. They haven't been ashore. They haven't gone beyond the gone beyond like the free port where the crews are allowed to disembark without needing passports.
Unless Vinshenzo is against the idea. He wants to personally go into the town and see about looking at the Temple of Bahamut, and then is hoping to go and visit the Sphinx.
seems like you go ahead.
I was planning on going directly to the Senate, but I suppose we can make a detour.
If you do not mind the minor setback.
I suppose we can make a detour.
She's also going to ask for that dagger back quietly. There's no reason for you to carry it anymore.
I thought I was doing you a favor, Vazra.
You don't need it.
Vin will quickly adopt a facade of evil and say, I don't know, I think it's been growing on me.
Ben.
Oh yeah, dude.
And then he would hand it over.
Don't listen.
Clearly, the only reason this happened is because you guys had the dagger on you.
She takes the dagger and stows it away in the secret. I think it was actually part of the coat or whatever that Vazra has for her disguise. I don't even know if the disguise even works anymore because of the fires.
The suit jacket pocket.
Suit jacket pocket, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Carlos, for helping me with my amazing disguise, complete with hood.
Yes.
Paelias, that's a really interesting suggestion. I like that.
All I know, Vin, is don't listen to the whispers of madness that Tiamat will give. They can be all-consuming.
The whisperings tell me that I should go and visit the Sphinx with this knife.
That's why I'm holding on to it, because I don't trust him with the knife. He's gonna plunge a dagger into Tiamat. Like, oh god.
Yeah, because
No.
we all know how Vazrai does with whisperings from draconic gods.
I am a champion of Bahamut. I should be fine.
You will hear no evil.
Everything will be fine. And with that taken care of, let us be off, my lord.
My lord.
Captain Nephis awaits a destination. I hear blooping of a message on the tabletop simulator. Just give me a second. I put a piece of wood on my fire. Get in there. Thank you. Very cold. Hopefully it won't be so cold now in a couple of minutes.
Does Chris have an old-timey wood stove to heat his house?
I do! And I get to spend a disproportionate amount of time feeding that fucking thing. It's really nice. It's just a little bit inconvenient when you're trying to do other things and you have to like wander back, and
yeah.
it's very loud.
I imagine
wood
it's
stove.
kind of cozy, but also time-consuming. Yeah?
It depends on the type of wood you use. I have
Yeah.
Do you have hardwood?
I have a technique. I don't think you guys want to listen to my like wood burning technique in the middle of D&D, so I'll spare you that for now. But it's fun. I love it.
Making assumptions, are we?
Well, if you must know, I like to use a combination of blue spruce to start it up, because softwood pines that are like really, really resiny woods, they burn hot, but they burn fast. So what you do is you get it up to temperature in there. The fire brick's all nice and hot.
Yeah.
Nice good bed of coals.
Yeah.
And I have apple wood because there's an old orchard behind the house that every once in a while a couple of limbs need to get lopped off. So we put that in the mix there and put that in, and that shit'll just go for hours. It just burns nice and slow and low, and keeps it a good, like, I can keep it at a good 22, 23 degrees. The only issue is it's the dry heat, so I got a nice little kettle. An old-fashioned kettle that sits on top of there, and it just kind of lets water go off, so it keeps a certain level of humidity in the environment, which is nice.
22 degrees must be cold.
Must be cold!
Because,
because it's Fahrenheit. Sorry, it's 22 degrees Celsius, for those of us in the audience that...
I don't know what that means.
Neither do I.
It's like 70-something.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
there you go.
22. I mean, that's warmer than I am.
Yeah, it's if I do it right. I didn't do it right now, so I'm probably sitting at like a 15. My toes are cold.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does the applewood smell good? Like, or does it not really?
The stove negates any of that, because any of the fumes that come out of it, I get the radiant heat, but all of the majority of the smell goes right up the chimney. However, I will tell you that just if you were to take, for whatever reason, barring it looking weird, like if you were to be handling applewood that's dead and dried and you smell it, yes, it does have quite a pleasant smell.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Paelias, where did you get 20? Oh, right, it's from the ship.
From the ship, from the wagon.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
yeah,
still there.
you gave us all that money.
Dave, you guys took all that money.
It was a two-man operation.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carlos has a nice 36,000 gold,
I helped.
36,000 silver, 5,000 copper.
Pretty handsome little sum, the fortunes of a small country's treasury.
Maybe I'll go shopping later, treat myself.
I helped.
So the HMS Fortune is out at sea, a safe distance from any reasonable level of
Vazrai did not help.
What? Ne'er-do-wells. The
I am
attention
an innocent bystander.
The intention is that you want to venture back into the city to report to Acheron, and also return the fisherman and the matron back to their back to their conclave.
We want to bring the matron to the Senate, but before we go to the Senate, we want to go to the Temple of Bahamut because it's important.
How are you getting there?
By foot.
I use my toes.
Given the fact
Alright,
that Nephis
good.
is out at sea, are you returning to the docks? And then dropping everybody off and then
Okay.
returning to sea, or are you
Oh,
like
that's what he
away
said,
mission?
okay.
I'm curious how you're getting there.
We depart the ship. I thought we were already past this, but I thought we had gotten off the ship when I sent that. In the city.
The city.
You guys went from the oil rig to sea,
Yeah.
and then you
Went from sea
Just-
to port.
went from sea to port. Okay, and then the ship goes back out to sea. I just missed that step 2, probably during the conniption that my headphones was having. Okay, so those things happen. That's totally fine.
Yeah. Somebody got distracted talking about wood for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really weird. Who would do that? That's fucking. Especially when, like, nobody would ever question a loser who would ramble about wood either to fuel on the rampage of talking about furnace burning. Nobody would do that. Okay, so you guys get out to port. Acheron did cancel warrants. What warrants were out for your arrest? Oh yeah, you did. You did have warrants for your arrest.
Did we? Whatever.
I think
don't give a
little,
shit.
little D&E, you know, nothing big.
certain individuals of certain guilds were definitely looking out for you guys.
Vincenzo
Continue
does
using
not
my-
care.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Vaz doesn't care either.
So the 4 Nicene vagabonds escort a Loxodon matron to the Senate, briefly stopping at the conclave little depot to drop off the fisherman.
Yeah.
He is well received. The entire city is in a state of tension. It's very, very fragile tension at the docks themselves. The majority of the populace that are living at the docks, a lot of them are outsiders, a lot of them are people who have basically tried to escape the city, and this is as far as they've managed to get. So they don't really know what's happened inside the walls. As you guys walk through the streets, the way you can basically understand it is as soon as shit started going down, they shut the gates. And the gates of up here in the main gatehouse, not down at the passport checkpoint. So people could come up the stairs and they couldn't get in the city, but even the guards down below, they didn't really know 100% what was going on. The fort of the Boros Legion was put on high alert, and there was a heavy number of troops present on the dock, as much as they possibly could. And a lot of the people that were on the docks up until sort of the morning were existing in a very hesitant state of fragile tension. So when you bring the surviving fisherman and the matron to the conclave, I know she's going with you to the Senate, but she would have been present when you stopped by there. It seems to be an audible, almost sigh of relief when they see that someone happened. You leave the fisherman there. Are you guys going to tell the story? Or are you just going to sort of let him talk about what happened to his own people and carry on?
Yeah, I don't really care what this commoner has to describe about what happened. I have to report to the Senate as soon
You
as
don't care about
possible.
what
We
the
need to
guild
report.
gets from you?
No,
totally fine.
Not really.
That's fine. He'll be left to tell the story, and you guys have more important things to do, and that's the way it works, and that's totally understandable. You carry on about your much more important business. You head to the checkpoint. You're not in disguise, or are you in disguise?
I'm not in disguise.
I'm not in disguise. I went ahead and took it off right now.
Yes,
Paelias
I
and
am.
Carlos?
If they're not in disguise,
No
there's no
disguise.
point in me being in disguise either.
Deadly. The vagabonds present themselves at the entrance to the city, and they are allowed
Time for
through.
stealth is over.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
You are, as you are let through You aren't made to wait. However, as you're walking up the mountainous staircase to get to the city proper, a ragged honor guard of Boros legionnaires who are hastily sort of still sorting themselves out as they're getting up the stairs, you hear them run up behind you, and they do not hinder your progress. However, they form up as your honorable escort. The way you normally the way you were normally treated when you were walking about the city under your real identities.
Rather
in
have
fact-
the protection right now.
Yeah, in fact, they seem like they're a little bit more tense, and they seem like there's a little bit more heavily armed and armored soldiers. It's not just your general street guards. These are pretty hardcore stock troops that have been brought out. You can see a couple of them are, in fact, angels. There's 2 angels that are part of the formation, each commanding a column, and they escort you, keeping a fairly wide berth. When you enter the city itself, there's a level of control that has been asserted over the outer outskirts. Azorius arresters, for those of you who remember, they are the law enforcement. They are the cops, the New York Police Department of this city. They are out in swarms. They're plainly armed. They have set faces. And anybody who even looks like they're potentially going to do something wrong is up against a wall, being searched, being arrested. Martial law almost looks as though it's been enforced. Boros columns of soldiers are patrolling the outskirts of the city. And as you reach up into the inner wings, the military presence just gets even more significant. By the time you reach the Senate,
We're going to Bahamut first.
by the time you reach the temple, it's very obvious that whatever was happening within the city probably was about as significant as what happened to you guys. Bahamut's temple is untouched. However, the Universitariat, which is this place here that was nearby, is one of the sites that was, it looks like as though it was one of the sites that was attacked. For Paelias specifically, because I think he was the one who ventured there, but nobody else did. The Izzet laboratories, you know where they are in the city. They're kind of like up in this section.
Yeah.
The Izzet laboratories were devastated. It seems as though something big happened up there where all the scientists and the researchers were doing all their wacky, crazy experiments. As you reach the Bahamut Temple, paladins, fully armed and armored, stand at the gates. They're passive, their weapons are not drawn, but it is clear that they're there to ensure that no danger comes to the premises of their temple. There are a few Orzhov syndics and there are a few Orzhov knights that are also occupying the square. And there's a hesitant sort of standoff between them and the paladins in the sense that nobody there is friends with each other, but they're all there to watch the same thing. The Orzhov knights are there to guard their investment, whereas the paladins are there to guard their holy temple.
Hell yeah.
I inform the paladins to keep up the good work and stay strong during this terrible time.
They nod their heads respectfully.
Seeing that the temple of Bahamut is okay, I would want all of us to keep going to the Senate as soon as possible.
Vazray, after talking to the paladins, would happily do that. Continuing to go with it.
Are you going to ask them about what happened at all, or are you just going to sit there and be like, you guys okay? Good over here? All right, we're going?
That's pretty much what it's going to be for the moment. I'll have to check back in with them once we come back. The Senate visit needs to be happening now.
Needs to be happening now.
I'm
All right.
not
Yeah, we
one
can
to
get a-
exchange words with common soldiers.
Those
We can get
dog
an
soldiers.
update when we report back.
Yeah.
It's true. All right. You guys make your way to the Senate. You walk your way up to the front of the Senate. Steps and columns. Once again, columns of troops, temporary fortifications, siege weapons, all sorts of pretty interesting stuff is going on.
There are siege weapons.
Yeah, there's like ballistas, there's catapults, there's strange contraptions that you've never really seen before that are manned by what look like engineers, technicians of some sort. There's mages that are patrolling all over the place. Like the main
this stuff.
Senate building, the capital of the city, is under heavy guard. They're not.
I
It's not like
find
things
it
are being
odd
arrayed
that
against them.
a floating city has siege weapons.
When I say siege weapons, I mean like ballistas. Ballistas and like big chunky things.
Hell yeah.
Do
And
remember, my
placements.
lord, it was not always like this.
I was
mean,
not
to be
here
fair-
for that.
The
Neither was
Boros
I.
Legion headquarters is like right across the road from them, so Army HQ probably got some hardware in their garage,
Hell yeah.
and it's all deployed in effort of protecting the Senate. There's a large number of sky patrols for those of you who are looking up in the air. Whatever was happening last night, whatever crazy shit went down, looks like the Boros and the Azorius soldiery have cracked down pretty hard. You are stopped. You are asked for identification. You are searched before you are allowed in the premises. How do you react to these things?
Uh-oh.
Oh, we're being searched?
I have nothing illegal or stolen on me. Hee hee.
Yeah, Carlos
knew
has
it.
nothing to hide.
I knew I was right to take it back.
Yeah,
Although,
you
got
have
it.
it now, genius.
I have it now. Well,
So-
it's better on me than the fucking king of
Not
Sanctuary,
true.
okay?
Wrong.
So okay, look.
Wrong.
All right, look. I got a plan.
Oh,
Carlos
got a plan.
Carlos is going to make sure that he's one of the first ones searched, and then he's going to try to lift the dagger off of Vazrai.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Oh,
that's a sleight of
shit.
hand.
Oh yeah, baby. You know it is.
Oh yeah, dude. Let's
Let me check.
effing
Let me
go.
check something real
What
fast.
are
Let
you
me check.
doing? You
I'm
fool.
saving your fucking ass
God
again.
damn it.
You know, it's good that I have the dagger. Someone who is not. Someone
It's currently-
who can't lie is uncharismatic.
It's currently on my person and hidden. They need an investigation check.
All right, so sleight of hand, I rolled a 27.
Wow. I'm fairly certain that you were able to successfully conceal the dagger from the infantry trooper who is searching Vazrai.
All right, and then after everything's done, and is there going to be an opportunity where like no guards are going to see us, or is they going to be watching us the whole time?
That's a really good question. I guess we're
Did
gonna
I
have to find out.
notice Carlos lifting the dagger?
What's your passive perception?
Not 27.
15.
Unless you're actively like paying attention to him, you do not notice this.
I feel like I would be actively paying attention to Vazare since I know she has the only thing that could screw
That's
us right
fair.
now.
Actively perceive for me, because you're right, it is important, and I think if you're going to be paying attention, it's worth a roll.
Looking
That's-
at Vazare sweating.
Vazray is just
Vazra is
ready
the
for
kind of
whatever
person
happens.
who has nothing to hide and goes across the border feeling as though she accidentally forgot the cocaine in her trunk that she never had.
26.
starts sweating because of it.
Oh,
You don't notice it. You don't notice it. You just see that Carlos
Damn.
like passes and brushes really close to Vazrai after he got in the line or something like that, and then Vazrai gets searched and she goes through just fine.
Hell yeah.
Vinshenzo's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then it's Vinshenzo's turn. He gets pulled over for random questioning because you got picked the lucky number or something like that. Or
Has
whatever
nothing
they
to do
say.
with your skin
I'm
tone.
black.
Whatever they say at airport security whenever there's somebody with a turban.
Randomly selected.
This would be this would be like trying to get on a plane the day after 9/11 as a fucking
Exactly.
Muslim.
Jesus
And
Christ.
also, you're a foreign dignitary, and they're looking for somebody to blame. Hey, I
Oh my
really need to
God.
see your leadership. They're all gathered in one spot, right? Don't worry about it. I'm just gonna come right in.
It was
But they,
it was Drow.
It's a fucking Drow.
Okay, what do I have to do?
I don't know. You said you don't have anything to hide, right?
I don't think
You
so.
weren't actually. You're not
You
actually
can-
pulled over
you
random
can prove
questioning.
me
I was
wrong.
making a joke. You're not
I
actually
would
pulled
fully
aside. You're
expect, I would accept it because of the circumstances. If you did intend for that, I'm fine with it.
I did not intend for that. I was
Okay.
doing a bit. The bit has run its course to full effect, and I enjoyed it.
It
But
is
moving on
very
serious.
accurate.
Yeah, it is accurate. It's pretty funny. But I think the fact that you guys were like escorted by two columns of pretty fucking like important troops, like, you know, it was the 81st, or what is it, the 82nd Airborne basically marched you guys right to the Senate building. So there's a
I
level
want
of
to buy
it's
a
a level
plane
of like
ticket.
precedence. Yeah, you're good. You get through the search line. Paelias, do you have anything to hide?
No, but when they searched my bag of holding with 25,000 gold in it,
Oh
I will
yeah.
insist that
They just up
if
into
a
the back.
single fucking coin is missing,
Are those
I will
marked
have their ass.
bills?
Oh no, I'm not the only
gotta
one with
count.
bad stuff.
I'm gonna record your name just in case I'm missing a friggin' thing. What's your name? Douglas Stevens? Alright, I'm watching you.
Marked bills.
Shit.
Oh, that's funny. You guys managed to get into the Senate after being frisked. You are not stopped, though you are inconvenienced by the search. You are not prevented from entering the Senate building. The soldiers that were escorting you, they do not accompany you in, except for the two Boros angels who stay by your side. At no point in time do they make an effort to address you unless they are spoken to. They recognize there's a level of decorum that is present in escorting dignitaries. They're essentially there to safeguard you. They're not there to butt in, interfere, or tell you what to do. So, but progress with the understanding that there are two Boros angels that are like, they got great swords and plate mail, and they're looking around with some pretty like squinty eyes, waiting for somebody to jump out of the fucking corner, almost as though maybe they've been briefed.
Hell yeah.
A steward comes down into the main lobby after a moment of inattention. The Senate building itself is full of losers who are crying and complaining and talking about exactly how they've been affected by all this kind of stuff that's going on, and it all blends into this beautiful background static murmur of voices that as you are led away to what you know to be the familiar route to Akaros' chambers
Hell yeah.
by the steward, finally vanishes as you enter into his office. The Sphinx is there, accompanied by his colleague from the Boros Legion, the Chief Supremo Angel herself, whose name I have to actually bother looking at because I forgot it already.
Night remembers.
Yeah, I wrote it down in the Vagabond's dialogue, so I don't have to worry about searching for 1,700 pages of notes. Huzzah! Yeah, and they're standing there, and both of them look pretty miffed, as though whatever happened last night probably wasn't too good on either of them. As you come in, and you are presented by the steward. Neither of them look upset. Neither of them look angry. They both look relieved at your presence. And Akaros, he nods to you, thankfully, to Vinshenzo and Paelias and Vazarai and Carlos, and he says, "The hour is dark, my friends. I'm glad you've come. I thought you might have stayed away. It is good to see an outside set of faces that we know we can trust."
Vazray is going to remain quiet for the moment, looking to Vin.
I remain silent.
She looks back at the other two.
Okay. Well, after a moment of silence, Akaros will press on, and he says, "No doubt you've noticed, but whatever was planned last night, it was much more significant than any of us could have expected." Condescendingly silent.
Indeed, we were expecting reinforcements to arrive, but they never did.
No, unfortunately not. But I can tell you that your actions were witnessed. They were observed by both members of the defensive wall garrison as well as a few of my agents. We saw exactly how well you tried to defend that conclave rig despite what was thrown at you. Your remarkable achievements have won the respect of all of us, especially, and he kind of nods with, or gestures with one of his ginormous sphinx paws at the angel that's standing next to him, especially with the Legion. They could not have so effectively dealt with such an assault. It is unfortunate that by the turn of the tide, it was that devastating artillery that caused the effect. We received the similar sort of surprise, but with much worse, much more devastating effect. They have targeted a number of key infrastructure points in the city, and right now, we can, at most, try and deal with damage control. Yeah, he kind of...
How is such a thing possible? I thought you guys had some kind of pact or agreement.
Akaros, whose face up until this point has been relatively impassive for a Sphinx, as they are known to be fairly excellent, the whole poker face thing. He shows a shred of irritation, and he says, the power of the pact we once assumed was still strong on this land in this realm evidently does not exist as we thought. And these terrible terroristic attacks, they could only have been conducted if the magic of the pact was no longer viable. This makes the power balance of the Senate, let alone the security situation in my city, entirely different from what we once knew. The Boros Legion is at its wits, at its frayed, at its edges. They're at their limit trying to keep security. And the Azorius, they're close to overwhelmed with exactly the number of security problems that we now face. What I can tell you is this. As far as I understand, the Golgari Syndicate, the Golgari Swarm, the Orzhov Syndicate, the Gruul, and who are the other guys? And we believe House Dimir are plotting against us. And it was through their coordinated means that they were able to mount such an attack. It seems as though it was a long time coming. They did it under our noses without any evidence to worry us. And the only reason we had any sort of advanced warning and were able to stop the attacks from being anywhere near as damaging as they could And he kind of chuckles, despite evidence to the contrary. It could have been worse, and it was thanks to you. And he looks at each of you with gratitude. And the information that you presented. We knew that something was going to happen. Sadly, we didn't know the scale. But because we were ready, we could respond in time.
Well, thank goodness for small miracles, I suppose.
As
what
of right
happens
now,
now?
my friends, I can only trust the people in this room. I'm sure that the scientists of the Izzet League are reliable fellows and they have nothing involved, but it was clear that somebody was using stolen equipment from their laboratories to pull off some of the attacks.
Hell yeah.
We do not know why, and we need to find out why. I'm stretched to my limit with law enforcement. And the general here, she is stretched to hers, deploying her troops and maintaining security and combating the few enemies that are still left in the streets.
What is the population of New Ravnica? Approximately?
It's in the millions.
Fucking a lot.
Yeah, it's in the tens of millions.
So even if, like, we got the Drow to come, it would not even be a drop in the bucket.
Stand by.
Because I think we're only, like, maybe a couple thousand strong at most, but probably not even
Sorry.
that much.
It's not tens of millions, but it's like in the millions of inhabitants. The guilds represent about 50% of the population, but this is an entirely urban sprawl. Yes, you do have thousands. I think you have. Yeah, you're in the thousands of troops for the entirety of.
Yeah, like we
Of
can get
Sanctuary.
maybe a couple thousand soldiers here in like 5 months.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
that wouldn't really do anything.
by conventional sailing means, for sure, a couple of months.
Look, I am not 9th level. I cannot cast Gate.
8.
I'm 9th level, but I didn't tell anyone.
I'm just
Shit.
making statements of fact.
And I put all my
However you-
spells into...
Glamour weave.
Yeah.
I put all my spells into being fabulous. What have you done with your life?
I mean, I could see that.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's... I guess I'll say to him, yes, it seems that good fortune has found you, as it does, but one cannot rely, or the weak cannot rely indefinitely on such things. What needs to be done to restore order here?
He shakes his head and he says, I'm quite confident that between the Legionnaires and the law enforcement of the Azorius that we can restore some semblance of order. But the question remains, the deeper fact is, we don't understand the purpose of the attack. We don't understand what might happen next. I have my hands full, and the Legion has its hands full, bringing the city back into a level of security and stability. But there could be more attacks. There could be a deeper plan. We don't know.
A mere day ago, you slept soundly and were confident that such things as today would, or as, such things as yesterday could not occur.
At this point in time, the angel, the general, whose name I finally have bothered to find, her name is Ibri, the Sword of Retribution.
Oh,
She snaps out, she says, yes, we were sleeping soundly, and we were clearly caught flat-footed. And now we have our hands full dealing with fires and unrest and terrorism. We need help. And as much as it shames me to say, we need your help. You, of all of us, we thought we were secure in our citadels, we thought we were safe in our city behind our pact of laws, but it was you and your comrades who were able to rat out the mystery and find an underlying plot. So, Akaros is unable to find the words, but I have the courage and the honor to say it. We need your help, vagabonds. We don't know why they did it, and we don't know if they'll do it again. And I honestly couldn't spare any more soldiers than I can at this moment into finding the answer why.
You must
Perhaps-
forgive him. He has grown weak. And worse so, he's grown complacent in his weakness.
Oh!
Azrae remains silent, eyes widen as she just waits for whatever just happened to just happen. It's like, oh boy.
Carlos just glances at Vinshenzo.
Paelias has some good commentary.
Azrae was getting ready to ask about this, but is like, nope, we're just gonna freeze for a moment.
Vinshenzo.
What needs to be done?
You've been asked about the temple by your comrade.
He turned to Vazray.
That is correct. And before she could respond, just hearing that, it's like, just gonna give that a second.
Sir, you asked the two heads of state what needs to be done?
Yes.
Yes.
Find the plot. Figure out exactly what they're trying to do. And stop it. Anything that we can do to help you achieve those goals, we will.
There's something you can do, perhaps. A little thing.
Yes.
Remind me, who was it that was in charge of the bank? Was it the syndicate?
The Orzhov Syndicate, yeah.
And they're part of the ploy, right?
Yeah.
From what these guys have said, they think that they're pretty confident that the syndicate's in on it.
There is one thing. It's more on behalf of Vazrai here that I'm asking. But the Church of Bahamut, it seems to have found itself in a rather predatory contract with the syndicates. If you guys could declare that null and void, that would go a long way in convincing us to help.
Carlos, roll persuasion.
Vazray is surprised by such a suggestion.
Why?
Vazray will
She
love
wasn't
Carlos
expect-
forever.
Vazray's surprised by this because Vazray would have never thought to ask.
It's just like, this is like upfront about this, but then again, it's a pretty decent ship.
Hey, if you give a presidential pardon 24, okay, fuck yeah.
I have Epstein's laptop.
So
Or, what's his name? Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden's laptop.
I have Hunter
Yeah.
Biden's laptop.
I've got information that could lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton.
He asked me to repair it, but
I
never
shouldn't
picked
say
it
that.
up.
I'm within drone striking distance of the border.
Uh-oh. It was nice knowing you.
Good luck, everyone. Okay, so Akaros will speak up at this point, and he'll say, "We don't have the power to interfere or otherwise influence the banks, the private affairs. However, how much is the church indebted to the Bank of the Orzhov?" I know you guys in character know it, and I don't
yeah.
even remember because I wrote it down on a piece of paper and it's somewhere in a
I
basement.
think it's
Wasn't
like
it
2 million.
Yeah, it was something
It was a lot.
insane.
Carlos would rattle off what it was and the amount of interest they're also being charged and whatever other thing, because he analyzed that document, so he'll tell them whatever they need to know.
Yeah. So Akaros, having said hey, we can't just erase this for you, he then proceeds to, with a level of finesse that seems uncanny for a creature his size, he grabs a quill dips it in his inkwell and begins writing out on a parchment. And he says, "While I cannot do anything for the banks, I can, given the fact that we're officially requesting your services, contract you to be paid up front a certain amount of coin that would be used to retain your services and expertise." And he writes out the exact amount of money that is required to pay off the debt for the temple. And he gives it to you, and he says, "If you give this to the bank, the Azorius Bank, your debt for the temple will be paid in full."
Oh, that is one way to take care of things. I can imagine they'll be positively shocked.
"I will tell you this now,"
Hell yeah.
says Ibri, kind of over top of Akaros. "While we suspect the guilds to being part of the plot, and while we understand now that the guild pact does not hold any sway, if we were to engage in open hostility against the other guilds, it would allow them to use the full efficiency of their guildsmen against us, and we simply would be overwhelmed. The Boros Legion cannot fight the Golgari Swarm head-to-head, nor can it take on the Gruul if they are assembled. We must proceed delicately, which is why we need some sort of proof or evidence. The charade of the rule of law must continue for us to be able to keep the citizenry in some level of stability. This is why we ask you. Unfortunately, we cannot just throw our weight around because we have no weight to throw."
How is it that what happened last night is not an open conflict? You have dead citizens and dead soldiers of the Golgari and the Syndicate and the Gruul floating in the ocean.
I understand what you're saying, but they did not levy the full weight of the guilds against us. And if I was to go into open hostility with my legionnaires, and she points at the giant massive sphinx next to her, or if he was to go about blanket arresting members of the Syndic, we would surely face an open war. We are currently dealing with terrorist attacks and guerrilla movements. We are not facing a guild that has been mobilized against us. This is what we're trying to prevent by bringing you into line, or bringing you into the picture. You can do things that we cannot. You can cause problems that would cause a bigger reaction if it was us in the place. An Azorius arrestor poking into places that he shouldn't be poked would cause a different reaction if it was you.
Causing problems is our specialty.
"I've noticed," says Akaros. "Nevertheless,"
Excuse me.
he waves his little piece of parchment, "nevertheless, I have contracted your problem-causing skills, and I fully put the weight of my support behind whatever you choose to do."
Well,
Vinshenzo
Vazrai,
will
how does-
nod and bow.
How does that strike you, Vazrai?
Bazray seems speechless. I would do anything for the temple.
Ibri mentions one final point, and she says, "Something to consider, but we have no understanding of the allegiance or the intentions of a few of the other guilds left over. We don't know the extent of the debauchery within that ridiculous circus that is the cult of Rakdos, and we do not understand the extent of sabotage that was performed on the Izzet League, and we have yet to hear any hide nor hair from the Simic Combine, and we do not understand what sort of actions they may take if further conflict were to erupt. Something for you to keep in mind, especially given the performance that you were introduced to at the first Senate hearing."
Yes. Liam, did you say Rakdos had they've not given word or been affected by any of this?
What they've stated is that they know for certain like they're pretty damn confident in the Golgari Swarm, the Gruul, and the Orshov Syndicate as being involved in the plot, but they're not sure about the intentions and loyalties of the Rakdos, the Conclave, and the Combine. Well, sorry, not the Conclave. The Rakdos, the Izzet League, and the Combine. The reason they mentioned the Izzet League is because the report is that Izzet stuff was used in the attacks within the city. Whether it was stolen, whether it was maybe like, you know, sort of swept under the rug and given it out, they don't know. They're sort of giving you every piece of intel that they have. They're like, hey, we don't know if these other guys might be trustworthy or not. About the Rakdos, they're assholes, but we don't know what side they're on.
I am understanding of this. I may not entirely approve of whatever Rakdos is doing, especially with how they're behaving. It is still considered innocent until proven guilty, so I am in approval with the handling of the situation, as far as being a little careful to be too quick to judge. For all we know, Rakdos may actually not even be involved, though I wouldn't be surprised if they were.
Neither would Ibri or Akaros. They just don't have any. They don't have any proof. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing. So they're innocent for the time being.
It will be done. Archamos, whatever your name is.
Akaros the Sphinx.
Archamos. Akaros.
Aside from
Vinshenzo
being
being
able to...
super disrespectful now,
No,
acting like a dick. Or you joke.
I was making a joke of an old acquaintance.
This would be fantastic if the debt of the church was finally removed and Bahamut debt-free.
That is what the piece of paper says.
Would they have any issue with me requesting the assistance of the Bahamut Temple if they're willing to provide it? We don't really have a lot of manpower right now.
Vinshenzo rolls his eyes.
They see no issue with it. They say that whatever resources that you can use, you're basically being given like
we have
blanket
like a letter
federal
from the president that says we can do whatever is necessary.
You have a blank check from the Fed saying, "Please help us with this problem."
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah!
Yeah. You got the backing of the Fed. So if you want to bring in the temple guards, like the question is more like, do you want to bring in the temple guards? Like, would you like to try and send for a task force of sanctuary troops because they're soldiers that you can trust 100% because they're literally your soldiers? Like, you have resources to bring to bear, and also the Feds are offering you what they possibly can, but they're also kind of saying like, hey, we're pretty tight.
If I'm allowed to, I'll make sure to discuss with my companions involving it to see if we wish to involve them, and I suppose we will see what we can do.
You have our word. The Temple of Bahamut will be protected by law enforcement as well as the military. They are friends of yours, and they're upstanding members of the community. There's no harm we wish to have done. If you wish, it will strain our resources, but we can ensure that a guard is placed on the temple.
I thank you.
Vinshenzo will bow and say, "Your will be done."
Oh. I'm really curious to see Vinshenzo's opinions when he gets outside of the Senate chamber.
That's kind of what I want to know too.
Fuck all these losers, they can burn.
Well, this place is fucked. Time to go find a different trade partner.
Better to rule in hell than serve in heaven.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Do you have the Do you have any other questions or commentary to be placed towards these two leaders, or do you have
Vinshenzo
a
is
desire
ready
to-
to leave if the others are.
they have
Reds.
dignified in a dignified manner? They've prostrated themselves in front of you enough already, so they have no other requests or
Bazray,
information.
Bazray does have one more question. Unless, I think we've already asked it, though. Do
Well, you
we
can ask it
know...
again.
I know that your realm perhaps works differently than it is here. It's certainly been interesting to see, even my realm going over to this one. But is there a way to reinforce this pact magic that your city has held for so long? To reinstate it?
The Sphinx tells you that is something that his sort of upper echelon of command for the Azorius guild are trying to figure out, as they've effectively lost all control. The one thing that they were able to depend on was the fact that they had the guild pact, which could enforce their laws and the force with which they use to enforce those laws. They have now lost it, and they're like, this was last night that they found out at Odark Stupid, when you guys were fighting a battle. Like, you had time to take a nap, wake up, and come to the Senate. And that's exactly the amount of time that they've had to figure out that, like, oh, we're not actually in control anymore. Shit, we got to figure out how to do something about it. So they don't even know what the answer is, but they're working really hard on trying to figure it out.
Fair enough, I suppose.
That is a reasonable thing to say. Yeah, well, I hope to hear more of this, and hopefully you will be able to find an answer to this situation.
So do we, says the Sphinx.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully the others don't realize that the pact is sundered, you could say.
I think they've realized.
Yet.
Fucking, hang on a second. Yeah, okay. So one little morsel that the Sphinx will give you with Ibri in the room, because you guys are the only ones there. He gets the two angel bodyguards that so far have been, like, sort of occupying the corner of the room by the door. They get dismissed so that the only people left in the room are the six of you. And he tells you that behind closed doors, the Azorius Senate and the Izzet League, and he looks apologetically at Ibri, sort of retribution, have been working on a way to try and bridge the divide between New Ravnica and the Realm of Old, as they were aware that the Guild Pact connection was strained. They were still under the assumption that it was not severed. And so they'd been working on a way to try and bridge the gap between the two realms permanently, to not only reinforce the pact, but to also allow a connection between the two worlds. And if that research was compromised within the Izzet League, that could have potentially disastrous consequences.
I have something to say on this.
Oh, right, the matron. Did you guys bring the matron into the room with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, she got shooed out too.
Oh.
And she's totally been
Alright.
listening to this entire thing, but she got like, hey, you can't be here for this next part.
Yeah, it's a little too high level, yeah.
It's pretty high level. You can't go in a rocking chair, you're too big. I'm sorry.
Hell yeah.
You gotta lie down.
Build a bigger rocking chair.
No, he's got an entire fucking couch that he can sleep on. He's not actually been that put out. He's just upset because my dirty sock is up there and he really likes sniffing my dirty socks because he's weird.
The realm in which I hail from is that of the Kobold Kingdom of Kadramoon. And while attempting to escape assailants, we had fallen to this world. And if I understood the gods correctly, that world no longer exists. I fear that if you're seeking to make this sort of bridge, and I will let you find your own path to faith on it, it is very possible that your world could be gone too. There may be nothing at the other end of the bridge.
Yeah.
The Sphinx nods his head solemnly and says, "That would explain, if the guild pact was broken, why it is so."
Carlos would
because the
back
world
up
no longer-
Vazra and be like, say that it's much the same for their world.
It could be the only other explanation I can think of, so you would have to, in this new world here, reforge your pact.
Paelias would chime in and say that the astral plane is different, but still intact.
That is an interesting point, isn't it?
It is interesting.
Sorry,
There's a
I
lot
had to
of-
get up for a sec. I'm back.
Oh,
Then again, I guess that would make sense because the material and astral planes might be different between worlds.
He would also point out that the great eye in the sky is a portal to the astral plane.
Oh, I did not know that.
Fazray is a little terrified by that.
that's a piece of information that he's been sitting on for a little bit.
I've heard
It is very
terrifying
true, though.
stories of the astral plane. Though,
The great
remember,
calamitous eye is in fact a reflection of it is like an open gate to the astral realm.
I'll break my
Or the astral plane.
concentration on the conversation at hand and look at Paelias for a minute and then turn back.
How interesting. With that is the last piece. This is the last poignant piece of information.
I have nothing else to
The-
add.
The two super chiefs have the intention of like taking the matron under their care, debriefing her, and then sending her back to the conclave. Unless there's anything you wish to do with the matron.
Oh,
Not in a CIA kind of debriefing way, but like, figure out what happened, make sure she's well taken care of, all that government stuff,
I'm ready to leave and speak to Carlos as I leave, or as we leave.
Okay. Is there anybody else who has any questions, commentary, or other interactions they desire within the chambers of the Sphinx?
I don't think there's anything else I wish to add.
I got nothing.
Nah.
Okay. Good stuff. So you guys dismiss yourselves and you bid adieu. You're brought back out in the corridor where your two bodyguards resume their protective detail, and you are the helm masters of your own ship of adventure once again.
Vinshenzo want to say something to Carlos?
Not if we have a guard detail. I guess we'll wait until we're back in the harbor area.
Once again, they are standing like a respectable distance away. They're not standing like 2 feet from you listening, and they do keep
So we could have a private conversation without them hearing us, right?
You can speak to each other without them being like right up your ass. They are keeping a level of distance because they are professional in their close detail and all that kind of shit.
Hell yeah.
You're also in like the most secure place of the city, so they don't need to be like they don't need to be worried about you guys getting like crossbow bolted from 2 feet away. You have a level of privacy while observing the fact that you are in a public corridor.
Before we do anything else, Carlos would want to go to the bank and deposit that check to cure the church.
Hell yeah.
It would be fantastic.
And then he'd also, I imagine, Vazrai would want to go to the church and let them know that they fixed the problem afterwards.
If
Not
we're doing-
so fast, Mr. Carlos.
It was never about the church. God damn it! Damn it!
It would seem to me that it appears obvious on what the next course of action should be.
Which is?
Does it to you, Mr. Carlos?
I have my ideas, but I'm curious to know what you're thinking.
I'll put it plainly. The the organizations that we find ourselves at odds with, their pockets run quite deep, do they not?
What are you planning, my lord?
I mean, it seems that way. What are you implying?
I'm just implying that we may find it prudent to relieve them of that source of power. Are you getting my drift, Mr. Carlos?
Don't tell me you're planning to do what I think you're doing.
Bank robbery time.
If you're doing what it is that I think you're doing, I don't want to watch. I don't want to see. I don't want to know.
Are you catching what I'm pitching, Carlos?
If we're having deeper discussion of this, perhaps it better to go to the ship first.
Yes, perhaps so.
Perhaps. Lady Pinefall.
I feel uncomfortable about this.
That's fine, Saul. Keep in mind, everything we do is to help you and your god.
It's under the letter of the law. This is what you wanted.
What better way to hamstring the offensive guilds than to remove them from their resources? I mean, it makes sense.
I am not good
Strike at the logistics and the army falls. Everyone knows that.
Precisely.
Without money, they can't mobilize.
Somehow, somewhere, Vinshenzo's wife is very proud.
It's a sudden.
However, I do think we should check out the other factions.
I really
They
am
are
not
involved.
I am not looking forward to seeing Rakdos.
I just don't think that the other guilds that they're working with would be so privy to help them if they weren't getting paid.
I think you're onto something.
I do not know how much help I could be in such a ploy.
Oh, everyone has their uses, Miss Fazrai. Don't you worry.
Perhaps we divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Indeed.
It could be risky.
No risk, no reward, Miss Fazrai.
Just do what you did last time we made off with their money. Just enjoy the music.
Well,
I suppose I did not actually do anything. Very well. As long as I don't see it.
If I don't see it, it doesn't happen.
I want to be blind to my crimes.
They're practically asking us to do this.
All right, so we're doing a bank deposit, and then we're going back to the boat. Is that what I understand?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Luckily.
I think it would be funnier to deposit that after we rob the bank, but
It's up to you guys.
Seems you're fresh out of cash. God damn.
Looks like you're in need of a bit of financial assistance. Luckily, I have this $10 million check that I need deposited.
Yeah.
Well, regardless,
It's up to Vazare and whoever's holding the check, I guess.
The only problem Carlos would have with that is that they accrue interest like daily or something. So by the time they did the thing, the check might not be enough to actually cover the, you know.
I think if we're depositing the check, we might as well deal with the check, go to the
Yeah.
temple, quietly inform them about everything, and then go back to the boat for a bit for a plan.
But if we steal literally all of their money,
Could also stop to just make a plan at the temple.
yeah.
I mean, if you guys deposit the check and then steal the money, then you get an extra $10 million.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what
That
I'm
is fair.
saying.
So we deposit it first.
Yeah,
Makes
let's
sense.
go.
But no, it would be fun. Oh, okay.
He just wants it to
You
be
guys don't
funny.
listen to me.
He
I'm a
doesn't care what
fan of a
happens.
really
He
funny
is
scene.
funny.
He is the bard, and he is actually caring about what's most important to his class.
Listen, guys.
What
I've got a
makes the
plan.
best story?
Oh, this will look great in the newspaper.
This is gonna be great, I swear.
Yeah. Think about how funny it would be to go in and be like, hey, by the way, this loan is paid off.
The worst four words you
Piece
could ever
of
hear.
paper, dumbass.
The worst four words you could ever hear from a bard is, "Hey guys, watch this."
Oh
You know what would be funny?
I have a joke for you.
I've got an idea.
You're never any fun, Lady Pinefall.
Come on, when it comes to serious things like this, I don't think there are times for fun.
Oh,
Oh,
There's
serious all of a
always
sudden.
times for
why
levity.
so serious? I mean, this guy fall.
After what happened last night and what I'm witnessing now. Perhaps there's time for fun later.
I'm back, sorry.
We forgive you.
I don't.
Oh, I'm sorry. He
You're
doesn't forgive you.
Ah.
I did what I could. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Um,
meat and crispy
yeah,
fries.
I'll,
What's the
I'll follow the party now that I've unveiled my plan, my scheme.
scheme?
I don't know how to do it, but
Knowing you, you'll know how.
Skibbity, skibbity.
oh. It's like any good piece of music. You have to leave room to improvise.
I think you guys got a really great set of ideas going on. But for the sake of me being able to describe what happens next, what's your first stop? Can we decide on that one just so I can make sure that I know?
They're
Bank
gonna,
way to
first,
go first.
temple next,
they're
and then
gonna
ship.
do the not funny way.
Bank, then temple.
Yeah.
Bank, then temple.
Sorry.
Sowie. Okay, we're gonna go to the bank.
Isn't
While we
it
go to the
also
bank-
like a possible tell? Like, hey, we have this like notarized from the head of the government
Oh.
check.
You know, now that he says it like that, but
like, hey, here's a payment for the amazing thing you're about to do.
Hmm.
I mean, we
I mean,
could also
what it
just
is
play
it's-
it off as payment for our services in protecting the rig.
What it is basically
Yeah.
like you guys were given a check so that you can withdraw $10 million from the federal bank. It's basically like you have received a piece of paper that says the government owes you 10 million coins.
Yeah,
or
but
10 million gold.
isn't it like stamped or signed by like the Arcaros? guy.
Well, yeah, it's a fucking government check. It's going to be signed by the government. It'd be really weird if it was a government check that was signed by the grocer from down the street. I think that'd be
Yeah.
like a little bit more sketchy. So, you know, whether
I'm
you
just
want to
saying
go to the
it's
guy
a
and be like,
possible
here.
tell that could possibly give us away, but Vinshenzo will let, since it's Vaziray's business, and I don't know who's holding the check. It's between them two.
Vinshenzo makes an incredibly good point. However, I leave it to the party to
I leave it to Vaziray.
to handle how they do it. I mean, you could always just spitballing here from a peanut gallery perspective. You could always just like withdraw the money and give it to the bank or give it to the temple and be like, "Here you go, pay off your debt."
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it would
like I
be
said,
wise to have in my hand.
peanut gallery.
You see,
yeah.
the problem is that
Vaziray might accidentally lose it or set it on
You
fire.
two-
Give it to Tiamat.
That's not what I'm saying, though. The act of withdrawing it, or the act of, like, getting the bank...
What if-
having a
What if we
10 million
gave-
government?
Yeah.
What if we gave the check to the temple, and then they withdrew it and took care of their loan?
There's nothing that specifically says it's being paid to the vagabonds. It literally just says basically like government check for $10 million signed by the
Okay.
Sphinx himself.
I
Okay,
feel
then
like
how do you-
even
We
that
can,
is...
yeah. So we can just give it to the head priest and he can pay it.
that would be better.
I
Yeah,
feel
let's
like
do
even that kind of gives us
It's
away.
a look. It's a
but
compromise. You
it's
can't always
like
get your way.
millions. It's...
He just wants the money.
Oh,
He just wants to cause problems.
I don't want the money. I'm
Listen,
just saying
listen,
it's possible
just
that it
asking
gives us, like, you go to the bank and it's like you have a check for $10 million. Like they're not just gonna be like, oh yeah, let me get that for you, sir.
You don't know what it's like here.
Yeah, you don't know what this private bank that also potentially could be a criminal syndicate is like.
I'm telling
predatory
you,
bank.
they're marking their bills.
It's a check.
You guys do whatever you want. Once again I leave it in Vaziray's court, but I think also doing it that way is also a tell. That's all I'm saying.
Your opinions are valid.
What does
I would like to
Vaziray
know-
do?
Yeah.
As I was originally trying to state,
Oh,
you two are much wiser on this, especially Carlos.
here,
Because-
Vaziray, it's your responsibility. Vaziray immediately
You're-
goes, no, fuck you, I don't want
You're
it.
asking the most financially irresponsible member what to do on something like this, who probably cannot see the writing on the wall when it comes to situations like this.
Vaziray
You two
sees
have
10
that
million
vision.
gold and thinks that's a lot of cotton candy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yes.
I really need volcano insurance for my island home.
The heart
Yep.
of the righteous is typically naive.
Damn.
As much as I pain to say it, I believe you're right on this particular case. I am not fit to handle this particular situation, and I think
Oh.
it might be best in Carlos's hands on what to do.
Well, we know
Womp
what
womp.
Carlos is gonna do.
Yeah.
Put it in his pocket and walk away.
What money?
Sorry, I lost it.
Once again, I'm financially irresponsible. God damn it.
Give the money to the rogue.
We're just,
Yeah.
we're just standing in a hallway passing this check around.
Here, you take it.
Oh my god, it's so much money. I can't wait. You take it.
Paelias
Nobody
is just
mugs
sitting there
us.
thinking how many dimensional rods he can buy with that 10 million gold check.
What do
of all
you
the
mean? I
science
could
that you
complete
can
my
do.
spell book.
A small loan of 10 million gold.
I have a
Think of all the
question.
science.
I have a question to ask DM.
I have an answer, player.
I've not tried to check, but would a Vazray realize that the dagger is missing?
Would you like to reach in your pocket to find your dagger?
Your suit
Uh,
jacket pocket.
My suit jacket pocket.
Did you just suddenly think about it, like, oh, I wonder why they didn't find that
Seems
crazy
like it.
dagger? Would you like to?
It's just something that kind of came to mind.
Okay.
Would I need to do investigation or something to kind of
You
recognize
do not need to investigate your own pockets, Vazrai. It really is up to Carlos. Carlos, did you return, did you sneak the knife back into your pocket, or do you still have it?
I was planning on it, but then never got around to it, so I still have it.
At some point in time, Vazrai, you reach into your pocket thinking about it, and you don't have the knife anymore. You've only just now, at this moment in time, realized that that knife of Tiamat is no longer on your person. It could be anywhere.
Why would you entrust so much money to somebody that cannot keep a handle on something like this?
God. Should I gaslight her?
You absolutely can.
Oh,
It's within your power. I mean, Carlos can do whatever he wants. He's a strong, independent woman who needs no man.
Anyway, does Vazrai say anything about not having the dagger anymore?
I think she
Not
literally
specifically dagger, but implying.
What did she say?
he implied some implications.
Are
Look,
you sure
I
you
may be
trust
stupid.
somebody? Yeah.
It seems you've done the first wise thing since we've arrived here, Lady Pinefall. Gotten rid of that bloody thing.
Oh, right,
Not
I
by-
forgot.
Not by
Carlos
intention.
pulls it out of his pocket.
She tries.
Oh.
She tries to take it back and put it back.
He'll let her take it. When the guards were frisking us, I thought it best if I held on to it. As not to, implicate yourself in any wrongdoing, Miss Pinefall.
I appreciate it. He says nothing more on the
Well,
topic.
now you're starting to learn.
Yes, I quite don't understand your roguish ways.
Think about how much
Roguish
of an
ways.
inconvenience Mr. Carlos just saved you.
Isn't that what we're all here for each other? Save each other inconveniences?
Oh,
Oh,
Oh.
isn't that what we're here for?
Or cause them?
Inconveniencing each other?
In a manner of speaking.
In a matter of speaking.
Nobody.
But yes, we stand around. What should we do?
Right.
Bank or
Well,
the
let's...
temple, or the temple or the bank, or the
It's
ship or
your
the bank, or the
choice.
temple or the ship or the ship or
It's
the
your
bank.
choice, Ms. Vazra. I'll hold on to the check, but do you want to give it to the temple? Cash it ourselves?
It must go to the temple.
Very well. Then
But-
we'll bring it to the temple.
it will go to the temple, but when? I never said it should
know.
go anywhere else.
Let's start
Are
the
we
ball
sure?
again from square one.
Are we sure it will remain safe on the ship?
Just whatever.
He's done. You've broken him.
He's cooked. He's done.
He's a broken man. Congratulations.
Decisively indecisive.
I've killed my
I
king.
never said we should take it for ourselves or put it to any use other than the temple. I never said that.
Only
He
to the
never
temple.
said that. It was only implied by me.
It was only in
directly
meaning.
stated.
It was only in meaning of hiding it for this right time, so to speak.
Have you heard about Trump coin?
Oh my god.
Gotta keep this chick away from Doge, otherwise they might not let it go through.
God damn it.
Why did you pay 10 million gold to this vagabonds for consulting? Huh?
Consulting.
Seems like government waste to me.
Hell yeah.
Hey, I needed assistance.
Okay, Bazare, do you want to pay the temple now or later?
Look, it was a life-saving payment, okay?
Do I want to pay it now? Please give me a reason to why I should hold on.
He's
I've
given you
literally-
reasons.
I've-
Whether or not you agree with them or not is
Sort
up to
this out,
you.
or I'm gonna start reading passages from the Bible.
I've said it so many times now that people are making fun of me for repeating myself.
It's true.
I'm making fun
We
of
are.
the general situation.
I'm sorry.
Vazrai, you are the ultimate decider of the next course of action. I have
I wanted
declared
to
it
go
as
to the
such.
temple and pay it off.
Okay. Does
I wanna-
anybody not want to go to the temple right now?
I will follow the party.
I
Disappointed.
would like to do some shopping if possible, but given the state of the city, I assume that might not be possible.
It is entirely possible. If you would like to go shopping, you can totally do that. Would you like to go shopping while these guys go and fiddle fuck around with bank checks and religious donations?
Yeah.
Don't forget, you can claim it as a tax credit, guys. Alright, here's the plan. DM states. Carlos and Vazrai and Vinshenzo seem to be very interested in this whole, like, figuring out a check thing, and it seems to all originate somehow at the temple. Paelias wants to go shopping.
Hell
Seems
yeah.
right.
We're going to go shopping with Paelias first, because he is probably going to be the most streamlined and easy, like, arc to conclude. And then after that, we'll do the
Actually,
secret
I'm
temple
going
of
with
the Soul.
Paelias. Fuck this.
Alright, the
Vinshenzo
elves
is
are going to go
done with
shopping,
them.
and the kobolds are going to go pray at the temple and donate
Hell
to
yeah.
Christ.
Donate to Christ.
Let's read a
Hell
passage.
yeah.
So we're going to go shopping first, because I've had enough talk of temples, bank checks,
Hell yeah.
spend some money. What are you shopping for there, big P-Dog? P-Meister?
Me just up the thing. Wherever the
Uh-oh.
fuck I put.
Here it comes.
You got
Shopping lust.
25,000 gold, so here's how I'm going to spend all of it in a day.
Well, I'm gonna spend all of it in a day. At first, I'm like, I'm gonna buy this thing and that thing, and then have some money left there. And then I'm like, but actually, I could buy all of this.
It's burning a hole in my bag of holding.
A whole lot of gold. I really, really want to open a new tavern.
Why do you think I spend second voyage in response
Time to open
that?
a vagabond's rest to New Ravnica.
Listen, with all this recent violence, there's a whole lot of cheap real estate. Probably get it at low prices, given the fact that there's just a general level of malcontent in the streets.
City
Everyone's
is
looking to sell.
burning.
Well,
I'm buying real estate.
assuming the prices you
buyer's
gave
market.
me previously still run.
Yeah.
The Arcane Grimoire +2, so just upgrade my book, which is 10k. The Deck of
Alright.
Oracles, which is also 10k.
Okay, you got 5k left.
Dominate Person spell scroll for another k.
Whoa.
Okay, 4k.
Synaptic Static also 1k spell scroll.
3k.
And what was the other one?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That'll do for now.
Alright, you got 3,000 gold left over, and you have a really, really, really happy, like, scribing business is basically you're now their favorite customer. The upper magical district, there's somebody who they pretty much put your picture on a wall. You've paid off their next, like, several years worth of
Rent.
mortgage payments.
You've saved their family from bankruptcy. You're a hero.
None of the horrible acts of violence took place near centers of commerce. They took place near areas of infrastructural significance, I shall say. The same way that the attack on the what is essentially like a source of major food production for the entire city, which is where you guys were defending. There was the Izzet laboratories. They got messed around with pretty horribly, which wasn't just a research facilities, but that was also where a lot of the it's kind of like the civic warehouse where all of, like, the public works guys go out to do all the road repairs and such like that. Like, that's also the realm of the Izzet. They were maintaining the infrastructure of the city, and their depots were also the things that got hit. And then there was yeah, so there's things like that. It wasn't like the shops, the things. There was no widespread looting, oddly enough, within the shopping district. So when you go and look through these areas, these specialized stores and services that are costing thousands of gold, luckily you're rich, well, you were up until this afternoon a rich bitch, the security might be heightened, but the level of sort of the peace and good order has still been maintained. The public presence is fairly calm, and while everybody is a level of anxiety about them, it's still pretty safe place. And you're able to witness that as you conduct your shopping. Vinshenzo's, for any shopping you would like to do, or are you just going along to get away from the kobolds?
I have some shopping that I would like to do.
Okay.
I'm interested in an instrument of the bards.
Is there any specific instrument of the bards you're looking for? Didn't you order a piano a while ago?
Yeah.
Didn't it already get... It already was delivered to you and everything, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, that's done and over with in terms of, like...
I'm looking for this one. The match
For this
pyramid citern.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Oh. Is that a... That's not a rare... How much is that?
Uncommon.
Oh! I have to look at how much that would cost. Oh. An uncommon magical item.
Yeah.
The answer is yes, you find it.
Oh my god.
The real question is, how much did it cost?
Vinshenzo marvels at the instrument in the shop. I've heard stories.
Magic items pricing guide, costs and considerations. I think this is the one that I used. I want to be fair for the fact that I don't want to be making Paelias spend tens of thousands of gold and then Vinshenzo gets off with a measly, like, 500k. Or 500, whatever.
Sure.
Huh?
Nothing. I get a catalog. A new Ravnica catalog.
Okay, basically you guys are in New York City. So the
I'm
level
at the
of
Gucci store.
availability for that kind of shit. That's gonna cost you about 500 gold pieces.
Done.
Done.
And happily, he says.
And
It's funny what you
happily.
can get away with at level 14 when you go to the big city, the Big Apple,
The Big Apple.
the Big
I
Kobold.
thought I might not be able to after dumping all my money in the fountain, but I can do it.
Well, you still have a few gold pieces left over?
I had 795.
Yeah, that's not too bad. What's
I-
up, boys? You need to
I
go
would
pee?
also be interested in a silvered rapier or any
A
kind of
silvered-
upgraded rapier.
Well, you can... I believe you currently have a rapier, right?
I have a normal rapier.
Would you like to get it silvered for a reasonable price?
Are there any other rapier options at the Gucci store?
He wants a fine silvered rapier. Baby.
I gave my wife the nice fire newt sword.
Gave my wife a gift. That stupid bitch paid me back with a fucking burden of a child.
Ah,
Shit.
Sorry, that was unnecessarily crass.
oh my god.
He hates his wife. Isn't that funny, guys?
Why did Vinshenzo say that?
My wife gave birth to my only child, so I left for 6 months on a sea voyage. Now I'm meddling in affairs that or of another country.
Shan't be meddled.
Rapier. Let's see. I see no reason why you could not have a very fancy rapier. What's your
Also
budget?
Interested in fancy hand crossbows and ammo for hand crossbows as well. I have around 300 worth of coin on me, but I also have some potentially very worthwhile things to barter with as well.
Some worthwhile things to be worthwhile. Okay. Wow, that was friggin' useless. Okay. I'm more looking for prices of things here. You can get a rapier is normally 1d8 piercing, which is wonderful. No, that's fucking 2024 rules. Get away from here. 2024 rules. Garbage. Pull up my fucking books instead. There are higher quality rapiers on sale. There's some master smiths as well as some artificers that peddle wares. Depending on...
Like, what kind of rapiers are we talking about?
We're talking about the ones that are silvered. We're talking about ones that have been formed out of exotic metals that cause them to be sharper, more deadlier, more durable, etc.
Let's cut to the chase. Are they fit for a king?
Are they fit for a king? Well, any smith on the... the Smith's Row, which is sort of the industrial sector of New Ravnica, is home to many fine artisans. And if you were to dabble and speak to any of the masters of the forge that attend these businesses that are on Smith Row and ask that question, they would all proudly declare that any of their works of art are fit for the king. Or fit for any.
I'm asking, like, stats-wise.
Yeah, I know. I understand. I'm stalling for time as I try and find a good stat block for you.
Hell yeah, dude.
So that I don't, I don't want to Uber give you something that's...
Okay, that's fine. I didn't know you were doing that. I trust you.
I'm doing that right now. Let me find you a good rapier and give you a really good stat block with a nice price to it so that you have something to go. It's not good enough for Vinshenzo.
Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of leaning more towards hand crossbows, but go off.
So hand crossbows, you can get higher quality ammunition. No, fuck higher quality ammunition because that's stupid. You can get higher quality hand crossbows. Exactly. So you can get higher quality crossbows. Not ones that'll fire faster. It'll just be a crossbow. It'll be better damage. The old
Drow weapon.
Do you like true Drow weapons?
Show me what you have in hand crossbows.
Show me what you got.
Yeah, Knight likes that. Remember when Knight did Rick and Morty too?
Hell yeah.
At the start of the session. Remember that?
Does Knight watch Rick and Morty?
Not really.
Does Knight watch Rick and Morty reruns?
You quoted Rick and Morty at the start of the session. I remember.
He remembers, Knight. Quit gaslighting him.
I don't remember if I did. I don't think I did.
Just gaslighting
You did. I'll bet you $1,000 that you did.
It's a lot of money. I'd take that bet.
Holy shit,
So-
this floor is so flat.
When you go into one of the smith shops,
You just did it again.
do you ask for a hand crossbow fit for a king? Like when you go into a shop and be like, "Hello, I'm fabulous. This is what I want."
I see him doing that.
Maybe not framed like that, but I'd be like, show me your finest hand crossbows.
Okay, so this one feller.
Right now.
You go into a very prestigious looking shop,
The Gucci store.
the Gucci store, and do you ask to speak? Do you just ask the front guy, or do you look to see like, hey, I want to talk to the guy who makes these. I want his best. Like, how do you go about it? Because
Sure.
this matters.
If there's
Okay.
like a chain of command, I guess I'll go to the top
Go to the
if
top.
it's there.
So the master smith of this very prestigious Gucci shop comes out with his leather smock, wiping his hands ashamedly on his tunic for being in the presence of such a powerful individual.
Hell yeah.
Walks around the corner, and you are greeted with a goblin. And the goblin smith, upon hearing the request, disappears into the back, and he comes out with two fairly decent-sized chests that
Ooh.
are inlaid with. One of them is inlaid with gold,
Ooh.
with a beautiful dark mahogany wood, and another one is a lovely red cherry.
Ooh.
And instead of having gold inlay, it is actually silver wiring with facets of tiny rubies. And he opens both of these boxes to you. He sets them on the counter, and inside are each of them have a matching pair of hand crossbows. One of them is obsidian black in the furniture. This is the mahogany hand crossbows. And the mouth, the aperture at which the bolt would depart the crossbow is been formed into that symbolizes the head of a serpent. It almost seems as though it is made with jade stone. And he gives this unto you, and he states that he proudly has imbued this. This is the serpent's tongue, is what he calls the set of hand crossbows, and this provides you stats wise, deals poison damage.
Oh.
His hand crossbows that deal poison damage, and it deals an extra +1. And they are being sold for 300 gold pieces.
So instead of
serpent's
piercing
tongues.
damage, it does poison damage?
Yes.
What about the other one?
The other one, as he raises them up, this is the cherry wood with the silver wiring and the inlaid rubies. He says that these are the Dragon's Fire crossbows, and he opens them to reveal a set of hand crossbows that statistically would be dealing the regular damage plus 1d4 fire damage.
That one.
And those are sold also for 300 gold pieces.
Oh my.
And he says these are masterworks. They're the pride of his craft. They are the joy of his life, and he is not yet found anybody prestigious enough to be
300
worthy of his.
each or 300 for
You give him
one-
300 gold pieces, and you walk away with that box and its contents.
so, and there's 2 hand crossbows in the box.
Yeah.
Okay. I will take those in that box.
That one there.
That
Ammunition
box
not
of
included.
crossbows.
The dragon
Ah,
fire. I
that's
can use
that's
normal
negative.
ammo, right?
No, you have to use
mean,
their special
the goblin's
proprietary
gonna-
Dragonfire rounds.
Yeah, he's going to go on a diatribe about how you can't just do anything, and there's like an instruction manual on how to properly like oil and maintain it and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah, you also have to take it back to the shop once
Why
a
don't
month
you
for
oil
repair.
my balls?
oil my crossbow, you stupid goblin bitch.
Oil this.
I will buy the dragon fire ones for 300 gold. I'm going to cover so 295 plus 50 silver, right? Makes
There's reaching in his
300.
pocket for like fucking spare change. Like, hang on, I got 300. I promise.
Yeah.
I'm a king.
I've got this covered. Don't you worry.
Out fucking standing. There you go. Please write down those stats. I do not have them notated, so if you ever
It's
ask,
just
hey,
a
what do those crossbows
normal
do?
crossbow that deals
Extra 1d4 fire.
Okay. Got it.
And also you have the advantage of having a really beautiful chest.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
There.
My
Why are
wife
you
is gonna
complimenting
be
his chest?
jealous.
Complimenting on what else is oiled up.
Oh, that's where I went there. She said it.
Like, what the hell kind of sound was that, Carlos?
I'm gonna get
Oh.
you, little dog.
that?
You interested in oiled chests, Vazrai?
Oh no.
Bazura says, man, I wish someone oiled my chest. Anyway, moving swiftly onward with for reckless abandon. Is that it for shopping extravaganza there, fellas, or is there anything else you want to buy?
I end my
I mean-
shopping.
I end my shop.
Hang on. Haley's got a few thousand gold left that he hasn't spent.
Well, it's not that I'm going to spend it. I just want to know. Very rare items are not available, right? Just period.
Oh, you'd have to search really hard. You'd have to grease several palms.
Well, in that case, I would spend some time searching for a manual of clear thought.
A manual of clear thought.
Yes. I think it's manual. Might be tome.
Well, you'd best find out.
Oh, tome of
Hell
clear
yeah.
thought.
Tome of clear thought. Book contains memory and logic exercises. Oh, yeah, that's quite rare. That's quite a rare thing.
Yeah. That's a very rare thing.
I'll get you to roll investigation for me. I'll be interested to see.
24.
You search around the districts. You're pointed towards academics and mystics, and eventually you are introduced to an elderly wizard in an ancient study, and he does in fact have the Tome of Clear Thought, but he's not willing to sell it to you. And he tells you that this is a treasured possession of his. It has lasted him all his life, and he won't just give it to anybody for any reason.
Remember, violence solves everything.
This dusty old wizard.
You could take him.
So no amount of coin would convince you to part with it.
He's got quite a stiff upper lip. And he seems quite
much is your
stubborn,
life
curmudgeon-y
worth
old
to
man.
you?
Would you like to offer him a barter, perchance? Give him a price?
How much? Do I have any idea how much something like this would be worth? Can I make a roll for that?
Yeah, roll. Fucking Arcana sounds like it's in the realm of like. Arcana would be best used to value that type of a thing.
26.
26. You would expect to value that in the tens of thousands of gold
Wow.
for such a what could be, well, I mean, it's not priceless. We were pricing it, but what many would be considered to be a priceless artifact, given the fact that it truly does attune and augment the mind. You know that people would pay tens of thousands of golds to reach the enlightenment that this tome would provide.
I will make an initial offer of 15,000,
15,000?
but if he is not accepting of that, I could stretch it to 25, though I would have to go back to collect the coin.
Seems
Roll
like there might be some-
persuasion,
yeah.
sir.
Come on, good. 12.
He has no desire to sell you this tome, and as you offer 15,000, he turns his nose up at you, and when you give your second
literally?
offer of literally turns his nose up and goes, huh, and looks away up and to the left like a snobby little bitch. And then when Paelias sends his second offer of, well, perhaps 25,000 gold, I just have to, and he slams the door in your face.
Wow.
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 Well, I'll
You
come
know
back when I have 50,000 instead of it.
You know where it is, at least.
I know where it is.
Did I see that happen?
You're an elf. Maybe you could wait a couple decades and he'll die of a heart attack and you just pick it up at the fucking bank auction. Who knows?
Hell yeah.
Dusty old bastard can't be living for too much longer.
All right. Well, I will return to the temple because I assume that's where we were gathering.
Yes. Speaking of temple, as Carlos and Vazrai, K Squad, as it would seem,
Hey, squad.
move their way on into the temple, the paladins are still standing watch out front, and you can see that true to form, almost quite quicker than you would expect the government to be able to polish the wheels of bureaucracy to get them in place. There's a phalanx of Boros legionnaires who have now sort of sidled their way into the courtyard.
Oh wow. Okay.
And you see a handful of CIA agents at a cafe doing that Jason Bourne thing.
We're not gonna look at them.
No, they are feds though. It's not feds. Like it's the feds. They're keeping an eye subtly and not so subtly.
Quick, Carlos. Inside the church, we'll be safe there.
Yes. We're safe anywhere with Spencer.
I wonder if that may not entirely be so.
You're always worried about something.
There's reason to it.
Everything always works out.
Yeah.
Okay, are you going into the Grand Cathedral of Bahamut?
Yep, I step inside.
Awesome. Inside, there's a larger than usual congregation assembled, and the Great Father Cornelius, whatever I called him, is leading a service for prayer to Bahamut, and it seems as though the calamity of last night has drawn a number of people to seek, whether it's redemption, protection, forgiveness, or what have you, from his great justice. It's extra crowded today. As you enter in, you are regarded respectfully by a number of the attendants, and you also see that the kobolds, which normally make themselves scarce during the day and normally hide up in the rafters, they're much more watchful, and they dip their heads and they waggle their wings whenever you make eye contact with them, as a comradely gesture of
Waggle.
Yeah, they
Waggle.
notice you. They flutter their wings and they bob their heads.
Vazray isn't entirely surprised that there's a service going on right now, considering what happened last night. She is happy to see everybody here.
What?
What's going on with the table?
Man.
What just happened?
Rewind
Control
time.
Z.
Control Z?
What just
do that real
happened?
quick.
Somebody screwed something up.
It wasn't me.
It's been unscrewed. It's okay.
I'm about to say, I don't think I hit anything.
It's okay.
It was Vazrai. I knew it.
Damn it. Bahamut, why?
So as
You
we're carrying on,
alone. If he's busy with the service, I'm going to see about finding a spot to join in prayer, and I'm going to quietly invite Carlos to come and join in prayer.
Carlos shrugs and follows.
I know this is not your deity, but I would appreciate if you would come and join me.
Very well. Since it would be rude to interrupt.
heck yeah. The service seems like halfway in. He's in the middle of doing his like the actual sermon himself. He's teaching the lesson of the theme of the lecture of the Father seems to be in not forgiveness, but in open-mindedness. And he mentions to the worshippers in attendance that Bahamut himself does not approve of judging those simply by the surface of their appearance, but by their actions and deeds, and how it is important for us to judge not by the skin or the shape or the way at which somebody walks, but in fact by the content of their character, and how the true justice will shine through above all else, as those who are faithful can find strength in the understanding that his goodwill watches out for those who are worthy of his protection. And as the sermon ends after about an hour, with some nice singing, and a couple of people are donating to the old platter there, a couple of copper pieces, a few silvers come flashing out as the collection plate comes by from one of the church staff. And the service eventually ends, and when the Father notices you, and he makes his noticing of you known, and slowly gets his way through all of the people who, make their own little comments and their own little visits, and he attends his flock as only a shepherd could, and eventually comes and greets you as you are sitting amongst the mass. And greeting the both of you warmly, he says, I've been worried. I prayed that you are safe, especially after the great incidents that were befallen last night. It bids my heart good to see that both of you are alive and well.
Yes, many terrible things happened last night, but thankfully we managed to help in preventing what could have been worse.
Of course you did, child. You're a servant of Bahamut, and you spread his light through your deeds.
If I may ask, me and my companion would like to have a word with you in private.
By all means. You are trusted of the
chambers.
clergy. And he leads you to a little tabernacle off to the side. You're not getting my French fries. Fucking stop.
3 hours later, still wants French fries.
Never ends.
Still trying to sneak up there. He's like edging his nose along the edge of my chair. He's like, I'm pretty certain that you're not gonna. I think it could just be me who could try a little bit of the. Fuck off. Anyway, so he leads you into his tabernacle where you guys have a modicum of privacy. And some of the other clergy sort of like head off the pining masses and see to their spiritual needs, and he sits you down at his intimacy and asks, "What troubles you? I'm eager to assist in what way I can."
You need not do anything. However, we have brought something to you.
Yes, I believe it is us that will be assisting you this time.
Oh, says he.
She looks to Carlos, waiting for him to present it.
So Carlos makes a big show of taking out this check and placing it. We're in his office, right?
You're in like a private chapel. The guy doesn't really have much of an office, but this is
Tabernacle.
the tabernacle.
Does he have
yeah.
a desk?
You have a desk, yes.
For you know what? Sure, yeah.
I thought he had a desk the last
This is
time we talked to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in the
I
tabernacle.
take the check out of my suit jacket pocket
Hell yeah.
and I place it on the desk in front of him and then slide it towards him.
Jackets that got pockets around here. This is pretty great. He takes the check. He reads it, and his eyes grow wide, and he says, "This could settle the debts of the Holy Church. This could make us free from those cronies with the banks."
That is the plan, yes.
And you're giving this to the church?
That was our task.
Truly, we are blessed for such salvation from the evil doers of the banks. This is truly a sacrificial act. This is quite a fortune of money. There are entire nations and kingdoms that could dream of having this much gold. Are you sure this is something that you wish to donate to the church?
You must be free.
Don't ask me to reconsider.
The father of the cathedral, the holy man who did his best to build this cathedral from the ground up, gathering the worshippers who had been far flung from Bahamut, from all the corners of this cursed land, stands up from his seat, walks around the table, and he supplicates himself before you, and he says, "Your kindness is that of saints. Your charity is something that I could never repay in 1,000 lifetimes. I am eternally grateful to your charity, and I shall never forget the kindness that you have done for me and this church."
Carlos looks a little uncomfortable. It's nothing.
You have no need to repay me, for you already do the workings of Bahamut.
Is Carlos a saint now?
You've always been a religious figure and you didn't even know it.
Santiago.
Santiago has no desire to be in this position, but he's been put in the spotlight by that stupid other kobold this entire friggin' time.
The thief that unknowingly became a thing.
Accidentally.
Carlos goes back to the ship, starts crying in his bed. I had so much money.
Carlos is gonna need a day.
The father is crying because of this beautiful charity. Vazra is crying because it's such a wonderful moment. Carlos is crying because of the number of zeros that are on the check that's going to somebody else. Everybody's having a tearful moment.
Yeah, pretty much.
He graciously accepts this gift, and he promises you that not only will it be paid in full, but if there's ever anything that he and his followers can do to repay this kindness, he does not say the word debt. He says, if there's anything that we can do to honor this kindness that you have done for us, that we will be there for you, and we will ensure that.
Now that you mention it, there might be one thing, and he glances at Vazra.
Speak it, and it shall be done.
She looks to Carlos with curiosity.
There is a war brewing in New Ravnica.
There's a preacher that we need in Sanctuary.
We do. We need people back in Sanctuary, and we need boots on
There's-
the ground here.
Well, I guess two things. One is pretty minor. But there is a war brewing in New Ravnica.
Mr.
The
Carlos,
forces of
there's
good are arrayed against the forces of evil. I trust that it would be nothing for you to pledge your paladins and your clerics to the forces of good.
He walks back around his desk. He resumes his seat, and he looks at the both of you somberly, and he says, "Of course. Although I'm not entirely surprised this is something that you ask." And he looks directly at Vazrai. "For it has been foretold that such a momentous occasion would come to pass. Has it not, Chosen One?"
Wow.
Carlos looks at Vazrai.
Odd phrasing. Is he behind this?
Oh no.
Well, what were the visions, Vazrai?
You spoke to your
City.
god, Vazrai.
A city that was burning.
And what's been happening, Vazrai?
A city that's
is
been burning.
And what have
On
you come
fucking
to do,
fire.
Vazrai?
You need to kick these guys out. You need to stop these bastards.
It's all coming together now. So yeah, he is wholeheartedly going to pledge and support your actions, and he says that the followers of Bahamut are entirely at your disposal. The chosen of Bahamut have been called here to save this place, and save this place they shall.
There was one other thing. Like I said, a minor triviality.
Small loan of 10,000 gold.
Our home, Sanctuary Island, it's in need of some clergymen of Bahamut.
He speaks.
Would there be any willing to accompany us back when we take our leave of this place?
He nods his head a moment, and he closes his eyes in concentration briefly. And he says, "I think I know just the one." And from the doorway, entering into the little office, was a very familiar dragonborn female,
Oh.
dressed in the robes of one of the clergy. Both Vazrai and Carlos are, I don't want to say intimately familiar because that would sound rude, but is the exact same one who led them down into that basement with the set of doors, which provided the visions to Vazrai and also the odd game of betting that, or cards, whatever the hell it was that Carlos had done.
Bone dice, I think?
Yeah.
Or bones, or finger bones, something. I don't remember.
That chick.
You, Carlos says.
"I heard you were in need of a preacher," she says, and she flashes you a toothy grin.
Oh.
"I've been meaning to get out of this stuffy city for a while, and I'd love to join you on an adventure back to your quaint little island."
One didn't know any better. They'd think you were expecting this turn of events.
Been stretching my legs for a while, and you could say that a little voice in my head told me you might be expecting some help. She gives you a wink and a toothy grin. "Besides, a few more rounds of dice and I might be able to clean out all your pockets, Santiago."
I think you'll find that last time I was the one that was winning.
Exactly. I must have my dues. You found yourself a preacher, Vazrai. And Carlos, of course.
Outstanding. We
Preacher
need
with a
this.
gambling addiction.
Once again,
Preacher
all
with
of Vazrai
gambling
Pinefall's problems are solved by Carlos Santiago.
God damn it. I'm sorry, it's like Carlos got turned into a kobold and he's the second coming of Colonel Matt.
Every time she places her bets in Carlos, he comes through.
It's
Unfortunately
true.
for Carlos, it
Basically,
just
he's
magnifies the fucking visage.
unknowingly an avatar. It's like, oh god.
sounds strangely familiar to the plot of Morrowind.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be
Nervar,
put in this
Moon and
position.
Star.
Stop worshipping me! I am not a god! Clearly, that's what a god would say! As you guys exit the office, having concluded, I assume you've concluded your business with the father, you come out into the main hall of the cathedral to find the two elves have returned from their shopping trip. And you have congregated once again. Given that it is 11 past the hour, you guys can have a final chit-chat and prep your next steps if you wish. However, we're basically concluded in terms of
Let's
any
continue
major
an IC
Oh,
Hell yeah.
because I have to go to bed.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
He's falling
roughly
asleep.
the same for me as well. So this was the wonderful, amazing session.
Paelias
We
would
shall-
long rest.
Long rest for 4 hours.
Well, short
Easily.
rest first, because I need to transfer my spells to the new book.
Oh, that's
And
fair.
then-
I'll allow you to just have a short rest. So if you want to alter those things on your own, we'll just say you rested shortly. That's okay. But such is the end of the session. I have every expectation that I will be able to continue as per normal schedule from now on, as my life has returned to a sense of normalcy, which is wonderful. So given that, we will reconvene the following Monday.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna go ahead and save this. Save game. Today is 17 Feb. 25 room 2. Hell yeah. Okay.
In that case, I wish everyone a wonderful night.
Before you bugger off there, Vazrai,
Oh?
I am earning you a point of inspiration for your amazing super firefighting fantastic thing that you tried to do, because I think that was a very in-character thing, and I thought that was
She could not
was
allow
great.
them to fail. Not now. They've gone too far. She might as well push through the flames.
That is truth.
Doesn't matter how much we get burned so long as, yeah.
It was a very self-sacrificing Vazrai thing to do.
To be
Bahamut
expected of.
approves.
Yeah, it's one to be expected of Bahamut.
I mean, it would have been really weird if she hadn't known, or if she had known that there was like no survivors and she chose to save it anyways. But either way, pretty good stuff. I'm pretty sure she would have figured it out and then just kept on fighting the blaze just in case. So, inspiration purview.
Thank you.
And I got nothing else for D&D tonight.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh, this means I get to eat my crispy French fries finally.
The
Oh,
ones
that's
that the
just getting
dogs
more-
probably taken.
Damn.
Oh, they're a little bit. No, the dogs didn't take them. They've been sitting in front of me this whole fucking time, and I've been looking at them, and I'm like, I might take a bite. And then somebody asks me a question, like, I can't take a bite.
Damn, it sucks.
Sucks.
We
Damn,
never
that
took our
sucks.
break. You could have taken like a break and you could have eaten them.
Oh
Yeah,
my
we could've. I mean-
God.
I was having so much fun doing D&D.
D&D.
I'm not
Hell yeah.
upset. It was
Too
leftover
much.
Cavendish French fries anyways, so